Tuesday, the 30th of September, 2025. I'm just going to raise my volume. It's been a few days. I was out camping several hours away from here and attended a really lovely birthday party in more northern Ontario. Got to take the Jeep tent out again. It was great. Did some boating, etc., etc. Got back late last night, and because I was completely off grid, my phone, I had zero internet connection at all. And so as soon as I got back to the house, this is when I started getting reception again, because my phone's actually not working with my internet provider with Bell. So anytime I leave my house, like, my phone has been shutting down, and so I have to go and figure that out with Samsung. I've called Bell and stuff like that. There seems to be no issues. It's not a non-payment issue, by the way. I actually have a credit. I always pay in advance, and I've never been late for a payment. So if anyone's thinking that, no, it's not that. But anyways, and so I was looking at so many messages people were providing to me from so many different backgrounds on regarding Charlie Kirk, regarding the assassination, regarding people's conspiracies and their theories. And it's been huge debates. And I seem to be, again, seeing things differently, right? It just like COVID, just like the Russia-Ukraine war at the beginning, just like the Afghanistan pull out at the beginning, just like Israel, all of these things. And so anyways, long story longer, Candace Owens, so many other people, like they are not sharing good information at all. In fact, they're making it worse for the investigation. They're making it worse for people in the mainstream with millions and millions of viewers that are watching, respectfully, garbage investigations. Candace is great. She's beautiful. She has great videos, great content. Obviously, she knows what she's doing. She has a lot of viewers. She's more successful than I am. However, she doesn't have the background or the experience or the skill sets to assess murder investigations, respectfully speaking. And so anyways, last night I was looking at more footage, videos. I was doing the frame by frames. I was putting it into AI software programs and photo enhancement programs. And again, just trying to keep on looking at information, right? To see, like, am I wrong in this? Like, I'm seeing that this is Tyler Robinson is the one that assassinated Charlie Kirk. He could have absolutely had accomplices, people that were communicating with him either before, during, or after. Well, obviously not after he got picked up. Well, I mean, he was communicating on a Discord page, etc., allegedly before he was brought in. And anyways, there's just so much misinformation out there. So last night I was like looking through a lot of stuff, and Hughes, I think that's his name. Anyway, he was live last night as I was in my office, just trying to go through so much information that I had missed over the last few days. And so I started listening to him because it's been like a little while since I've watched his work. But anytime I've watched his content or look at his content on social media, it's been great. He's very professional. He really knows what he's doing. And unfortunately, he's not getting the same amount of viewers as people like Candace Owens or Ian Carroll or anyone else, that they're not sharing as accurate of information as he is. And so I'm going to share a few of his videos. And he discusses the timeline, the surveillance, so many different things that people are trying to say what was a staged and planned event with, like, government assistance. And I'm saying that it's not always a conspiracy, right? Not every tragic, horrendous, disgusting event, talking about the Charlie Kirk incident, is some kind of like CIA operation. And so anyway, I will start with just showing you some things that I was going through, because I think people now, like, you can't just listen to the mainstream media, social media influencers, because you have to do your own research, respectfully speaking. So I like this program. It's called letsenhance.io/boost. And so you can actually take images or videos or screen captures and get them enhanced. It's really not that great with the footage that we got from the footage, but it's good enough where you can get some enhancements for better images to see what Tyler Robinson was carrying, get more details. Anyway, so this is a good program if you want to get blurs or enhanced images. And you can actually run it through AI, like Grok and ChatGPT. Probably not Grok, because Grok sucks at enhancing images, but ChatGPT is pretty good. And does confirm that there's some kind of elongated object that's being carried by this individual that's in these surveillance videos. And so, yeah, if people are going to be that huge with their influence, they should be doing things like this as well. Okay, so I'm now going to get into the videos, like the actual meat of stuff. But before that, I'm going to show you the videos. So this is one video I had looked at frame by frame at like 0.25 speed over and over again. And this is what I was looking at when I noticed that Gray Hughes was live. And so I just clicked on, and then I saw what he's talking about. I'm like, this is great. He is doing such a good job with these videos. I actually linked all of his videos that I'm sharing, because he deserves all the credit for these videos. Well, not this specific one. This was from Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. But actually, before I run you through the whole thing, I'll run it at normal speed, and then in areas where it does appear to me to be some kind of an elongated object, which could be the size of a 30-06 rifle going off the roof. And so I'm just going to expand this. I'm going to rewind. Okay, he's just moving behind this. What speed do I have it on this time? Okay, skin coming out here. You can see him through the glass. It's far away from the security camera, so it is really hard to see again, like very like specific features. Okay, so here's where we're coming here. Something elongated, possibly covered in a cloth in his hand. Going down the roof. Okay, so this is where I kept on going back as well. I was back and forth here. So at 23 seconds on this video, I'm going to slow it down. I'm going to go back again to 23, 20, I'll go to 22 seconds. Going down. Check this area here. That to me appears to be, again, like a really good image of what could possibly be a rifle that people are saying is just like a small little object or something like that. I've ran this through AI. Doesn't confirm that it's a rifle, obviously, but confirms that it is an elongated object. And so anyways, I'll keep it running through. So that was a really good part of the surveillance. For me, jumps down. I'll go back. And then even up there, I had done a screen grab. Why is it? There we go. And I don't know how tall Tyler Robinson is, but he appears to be above average height or average height. So I'm guessing anywhere between like maybe like 5'10" to 6 foot. Again, I don't know. I've done comparisons of him alongside his family and friends, the images that are out there, and he does appear to be taller than his mother, his father, and but yeah, he's walking. So this is like one of the main videos I think that is being shared by mainstream media. There are other videos out there and surveillance out there that does shape this into what appears to be very black and white. And people are talking about the autopsy, and had said that there was audio of a dispatcher that was communicating saying there was no autopsy and that Charlie Kirk was coming in and picking her up at Duncan or in Duncan and all of this stuff. And I don't believe that was like real audio. It seems to be stitched together. There's different voices, different people communicating during different parts of that audio clip. I ran it through AI as well. Also came into agreement with the fact that it doesn't seem like it's the same people communicating, and that it just doesn't line up with what's being said. Especially with the 287 officer, which is ICE, or like working with ICE, staging the emergency area at the hospital and things like that. Like that makes absolutely no sense when it comes to or applies to Charlie Kirk and his murder and getting sent to the hospital to try to save his life. Um, why would ICE or people involved with working with ICE be involved in staging at an emergency area? And so again, there's a few things in there that doesn't make sense. So that's just my assessment on that. I could be wrong, but I'm saying I don't think that that audio clip is anything that's actually legit or real. I think it was stitched together, possibly by some kind of a troll or I don't know, someone just trying to again intentionally or deliberately screw up the investigations or what people think, I guess, online. Because like I don't think that people within the teams that are investigating the murder, I don't think that they're going to look at that audio clip and take it seriously. Anyway, an autopsy was done. We haven't received it yet. I think it's because of the possibility of tampering with the jury. I guess I don't know if you'd call it tampering with the jury, but when you share too much information, there's a possibility that the defense for Tyler Robinson can use that against can use that against the prosecution in order to have an appropriate court trial. It's hard to explain this. In order to have an appropriate trial, if there's so much information that's being shared where it's completely black and white, there's irrefutable evidence that's shared to everyone in the world, then again, if there's someone that's part of the jury that sees that, right, they can have a bias going into the hearings, and so again, that could be possibly used against the people that want to prosecute and looking for the death penalty. And so there's a lot of information that can't be shared because of that. I hope I'm making sense. Again, it was a long weekend. I really didn't sleep all that much, and last night I was in the office until probably 1 or 2 a.m. looking through all this stuff, so I'm a little tired. And anyway, so I'm just going to go through some of his videos. So this is from a day ago. Gray Hughes Investigates. I did link it. And these are short videos, so I'm not sure if you...
Hello, this is Gray Hughes of Gray Hughes Investigates on YouTube. Please hit that like button, share the video, and subscribe. Today's video is a video I meant to make a while ago regarding shadow analysis of various time frames to make sure everything is consistent. And I think I've discovered something that changes sort of the order, and maybe you can theorize on Tyler Robinson's movements based on the different time frame. I've speculated recently that the 8:06 time frame that was reported in news outlets of being the time where Tyler Robinson walks by one of those initial sort of TMZ cameras. They said that was at 8:06, and that's absolutely not correct at all. In fact, I believe it's after the shot that you're seeing on the screen right now.
I'm going to keep that playing, but if you look at my earlier videos, this is why I really appreciated Gray Hughes' breakdown of this, because I've said I didn't explore the shadows like he did. This is incredible work I'm going to share, but I was saying that the timelines, what people are posting out there of him walking past certain areas, did not make sense to me. And I'm so glad he shared this video, because I'm like, thank you, because this makes way more sense than what people are alleging was the timeline of these surveillance captures from different cameras in neighborhoods. So I really appreciated this.
So we see this shot right here. We see his vehicle pull in to this area at 8:23 in the morning, and then we later see him walking by here, right there. Now, if you can see, there's a shadow right there. Now, I have a program called 3D Studio Max, and here's the same angle. So let me show you what I've done here. I've taken two different images, satellite images, and they're north-south oriented. And in 3D Studio Max, I have them placed the images onto two different planes. All right, and then I have a sunlight system. See this right here? That's the daylight system. And if you select the daylight system, let's put the time where it matches the time frame on in the video. All right, so we right over here on the right hand side of the screen. If you don't have HD, it might be hard to see, but this is at right now it's at 10 o'clock. So let's switch it to 9:57, which is the time which is the time that the surveillance footage has on it. So if you can see right here, I have it set for 9:57, and it's September 10th, 2025, and it's -6 UTC time. So you can actually have it set to -7 and then click on daylight savings time, and it would turn out to be exactly the same. All right, so I have everything set correctly. Also, you can get the location, and in here, I have it set to Orem, Utah. So all of those are necessary to get an accurate shadow. You have the location, you have the date, and a time frame. All right, so let's take a look at this camera. Now, this is where the camera is on this house. It's just like this. Let me go straight up and down, look at it. And there's the camera. It's right off that point facing this way, and Tyler Robinson is walking basically right in that area. So let's go back to that video. There's the driveway. There's the bush at the end of it. Go back to 3D Studio Max. There's the bush right there. He's walking by right there, and we're going to look through that camera, and then I'm going to render the scene, and I put a cylinder right where Tyler Robinson would be standing, as I've explained. And then look, see how the shadow goes off just slightly to the right of the cylinder? You can see it right there. See that? That's the shadow from the sun being set up exactly how we have it set to 9:57 on 9/10/2025 in Orem, Utah. All right, so you can definitely see it right there. All right, so that time is correct, 9:57. So now let's take a look at the other location, which is the TMZ camera. This is the second one that was released, the secondary camera. The other one is just north of that. So we're going to take a look at this one, and this is the shot. This is where Tyler Robinson is standing. So what we're going to do is get out Adobe Premiere here and move it forward to one of those shots. Now this is a good example right here. We have no time associated with this camera here, except the other camera shows that this is right around 11:50. So we can assume this is right around 11:50. And we go, let's just put it right on that line, and he's straight up in the air right there. Okay, so look at the shadow angle. It's going just like that. So let's take a look at what we have in 3D Studio Max here. So we see that, and let's go back to Adobe Premiere. So we're right in the same spot, that cylinder. So you see the angle right there, where it's just gonna get into that line that's right there. So it just would go like right there from that position. So let's go ahead and render out the shot. So it should go back by right there if we switch the time to 11:50. Okay, and then I'm going to render it again, and let's see what happens. And we're going to render it right here, and you'll even notice that on the cylinder itself, the shadow is on the correct side. You can see right there, it's lit on the right. There's the shadow, and let's see where it goes. Now I made this longer so we could extend it out. And see, look at that. It goes, that's the sideline right there, and it goes right in the same position. So that is correct. That is absolutely accurate. That's right around 11:50. And here's an example of both of them side by side. So here is Tyler Robinson, and this is the cylinder in the same location. See right there? We have that line, and there's one in the middle. I'm having him stand right by that. And if you notice, the angle of the shadow is absolutely consistent with it being 11:50. All right. So now let's take a look at the key image here. So we have two images that we verified that shadows are consistent with the time frame. So let's go ahead and switch this over to 8:06 in the morning. So let's fix the time frame here. So this would be, let's make this 8:06, 8:06, and let's render it and see what happens. And after we render it, we'll compare it to the image that was put out there in the video where he's walking by and there's a shadow walking by. Now, 8:06 in the morning, it's still, the sun's only been up for less than an hour, so it's not really that bright. So let's take a look. We'll still be able to see the shadow angle at 8:06 in the morning. Okay, so can you guys see the shadow angle here? It's almost straight off, And like here's the grout line, another grout line. See how it just kind of goes almost straight off? I mean, straight would be right like that. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind when we're looking at the surveillance footage. So here we go. We're going to go to Adobe Premiere and we're going to look at, let's go back to that footage that was assigned to 8:06 in the morning. Well, look at the angle of that sun right there. See that? So we'll put him in that same spot right there. Look at that. That's not even close. And in fact, if you drew a line from there, it would be just left of that line. So if you drew it out and went like just like that, it would be just left of this grout line. So that's not even close. It's definitely not 8:06. So let's go back to 3D Studio Max, get the light system, and then we know what the angle was during at 11:50. So it's somewhere in between that. So let's go ahead and make this something like 9:30 or so, right? And we'll just kind of look at it roughly here. We hit the render button. So this would mean it was before the 9:57 video, but just much later than 8:06. So let's see what it says. And when I say, let's see what it shows us where the shadow would go. If it's anything to the right of where that last shadow was from, then we know it's later than that. So here it goes rendering. And you can see the angle's sharper now, for sure. And it's supposed to be left of that line before the next grout line, and it is not. See, it needs to be over here. So that means it's later. So then I said, okay, if it's later, then maybe it's after 9:57. So let's go to like 10:05. All right, we're going to switch that right now. So here we go. We're going to switch that to 10:05. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make it 10:06 because they were saying it was 8:06. And I'm just going to assume that they're 2 hours off for some reason. And let's hit the render button. And here we go. Takes a little bit to render here, but this program's been incredible for me over the years, being able to determine the time of video when you don't have a time code given with it. And that's what we have here. And I think this answers a lot of questions. So if we take a look at this, I'll just kind of zoom in a little bit to maybe here. I have to pan out slightly. And then look at this. That's exactly the same. Notice how that is coming in, and it would go right to the left of that grout line. So it might even be slightly later, like 10:08, something like that, but it's after the other shot. And here is a side-by-side comparison. So this is an unknown time frame, except we do now know approximately what time it was. So you can see, I mean, this is not at 8:06 in the morning. And I did check this grout line here, or whatever this is right here. There's shadows in there too, but the first line right there is the actual grout line, and you can compare it to the flower bed. See how it's just off of the flower bed there, and we take a look at Adobe Premiere, see how it's just right there. Take a look at that again. Yep, and the angle is just different, but it's definitely, this one here is not the grout line of each of those slabs because it's way out there. It's the first one, all right? So you can see the shadow goes this direction and goes in past this grout line right over there, which makes that very likely to be right around the 10:06 time frame. So when we look at Google Earth here, that means I like to look at it from this angle. He was right over here at 9:59 and then started walking this direction. And I think he walked right by here, maybe looked over at his dump spot, walked around this neighborhood like this, around and down, and then came by right here. And that's at like 10:06. Now we also know that he was there in the area at 8:30, and I think that probably is associated with the car driving by here at 8:23, and it drives this direction, and then probably I bet you from there it probably drives this direction down here, and maybe parks right over in this area, or drives onto the campus because they do say they see it on campus. So maybe it drives into the area, could even be right here, gets out, walks around, then eventually he parks his car somewhere right over here, in my opinion. Somewhere literally like inside this block right here. And then just got out the dump site of the weapon. And then he continues down like this, just looks at it, goes around, and then he goes back into campus for a little bit. And then eventually he must go back out to where his vehicle is over here and switch out to wearing the black pants, the black shirt, the hat, and putting the rifle in his pants. Now, where he did that, we still don't know. It definitely wasn't here at this church. It doesn't appear, because I don't know why he'd be walking this direction south if he parked over there. You wouldn't walk all the way up there with the gun in your pants and have to walk all that extra distance. So I think he did park up in here somewhere and then walk down here and then this direction later at, and we see him here at 11:50. So it's almost 2 hours later, an hour and 45 minutes after we see him wearing the maroon shirt heading this direction. He then shows up later. And again, and that's after he must have made his way back. Now, I don't know how long they have him on campus. They said his car showed up in the area at 8:30, and then they start seeing him walking around. Now, how long was that? Maybe the car was there, and then he shows up at more like 10 o'clock onto the campus and then leaves. That's something we still have to figure out. But we now know that that image of him walking was after the image of him walking up here. Okay, so he walks by that house at 9:57, and then I think it's down here at 10:06, and that makes a hell of a lot more sense. It wasn't really making sense, and it wasn't adding up to the information that we've been given before. All right, so just taking a look at these again, this is at 10:06, and you can see those shadows absolutely work. Right to the left side right there, and this would eventually go right to there. It's just I have it at a different angle. It's a little lower. I could probably pan the camera up on the left a little higher, and it would look exactly the same. See how like this area here is shorter and this is longer? So maybe I'll do that on another experiment here later, or perhaps even on a live stream. That'd be cool. We've got that. And so this is absolutely 10:06. And then we have this one just as a proof of the shadow angle. That's the 11:51. You can see that's exactly the same as well. All right, everybody. Hope you found that interesting. This is the kind of stuff I love trying to figure.
That was such an interesting video, and it assists in painting the timeline and his movement. And I'm not done. There's more. I don't know how long this is going to be, but I want to be thorough. So this is his video. I did link it already. But Tyler Robinson encounters officer trying to retrieve weapon. Did that happen? Did that not? I don't know. Okay. I've been putting it on 1.5 speed.
Hello, this is Gray Hughes of Gray Hughes Investigates on YouTube. Please hit that like button, share the video, and subscribe. Today is a reset of the Charlie Kirk shooting. Now, I'm not going to go over every single thing, but I just want people to get back to reality. We are now seeing videos that are talking about his microphone that he had on his shirt.
Oh my God.
Was actually exploded or shot something at him.
Yeah. And I've received that clip dozens of people. And I'm talking about people that are working in government, working for government, people in the security industry, people in military, people. Yeah. If you look at that video, okay, the mic is still intact and there's no projectile or anything that is seen at all in those silly videos that people are trying to say, oh, it's not a mic explosion. It was not. And even the angle would have been way off if it came from that direction as to where the entrance wound was. And so, yeah, like I was going to say, I was talking to some people on Signal yesterday, like people that I do put more time into trying to communicate data with, because they do have important positions. And so when people have important positions, I really try to lay it out and give more attention to that, because they are fully believing that this is a CIA intelligence operation and that it's not Tyler Robinson and so many other things. And so one of the arguments was that a 30-06 would have blown Charlie Kirk's head off. And I did show multiple videos of even with deer hunting with a 30-06, even at a closer range, that it didn't happen. I shared and debunked the videos from Valhalla and whatever that other channel is. And again, I'm being respectful in this because these are veterans and I thank them for their service, and they are trying to help. And so I really hope that people don't take this out of context and think that I'm just trying to slam them. I'm not, but they're incorrect in their assessments. And even the FBI gel skulls that were utilized to show, oh, see, this is exactly what would have happened to Charlie Kirk. I debunked that, why, and everything. So look at my previous videos for that. And so, yes, a 30-06. So this was a comment that I said back to a couple of my friends that were trying to say that it would have, it couldn't have been a 30-06 because of the the injury and the no exit wound, et cetera, et cetera. So yes, a 30-06 rifle round with a soft point bullet can fragment when it hits bone. I've shared a lot of videos on that, so look at those. Although the extent of fragmentation depends on the specific bullet design, velocity, and the type of bone encountered. Soft point bullets are designed to expand upon impact, and this expansion can be further influenced by hitting dense structures like bone. When a soft point bullet strikes bone, the impact can cause the bullet to deform, fragment, or even disintegrate, especially if the bullet is not constructed to maintain integrity under such stress. For example, some soft point bullets are engineered to hold together after hitting bone, while others may fragment more readily, particularly at higher velocities or with certain bullet compositions. The 30-06 cartridge, known for its high velocity and energy, can deliver significant force upon impact, and people have been way off with what they're saying the force upon impact or whatever it would have been, the feet per second, and like over embellishing that in order to try to paint a narrative, which is annoying. Just stick to the fucking facts. Sorry for swearing, that was unnecessary. Anyway, the 30-06 cartridge, known for its high velocity and energy, can deliver significant force upon impact, which increases the likelihood of bullet deformation or fragmentation when encountering bone. This behavior is a key factor in the terminal performance of the round, as fragmentation can increase tissue damage and create a larger wound channel. And I was talking to something about something else as well. Oh yeah, and so I shared this like almost 8 minute long audio clip, and then I shared it with a few people because this was what I thought was like an overall breakdown of what actually happened, and they're no, that didn't happen. I'm like, okay, well, why do you think that this was some kind of a CIA government planned operation, and that it wasn't Tyler Robinson? And what I'm being, the argument is Charlie refused a $150 million donation from Israel for his TPUSA. I won't say what else is said, but okay, so we don't know the actual amount that was possibly offered. I do think that Turning Point USA, and correct me if I'm wrong, that Charlie Kirk has been, he has said, and other people have said this as well, and I've shared those clips, but that he doesn't accept funding if they're not, if the organizations or the people are not American. So, so that's likely why he refused that as well. And while he did question some things that were happening with regards to Israel and Palestine, he was largely in support of Israel, and so even that like doesn't make sense to me because Netanyahu, he has been putting in hundreds of millions of dollars into propaganda and media in order to paint his in order to improve his image, because people have been walking out of UN committees when he's speaking. People are calling him out, calling for him to go to jail. There's massive protests even within his own country, right? And by the way, this is not to be blamed on all people within Israel or all the Jews, whatever everyone's trying to do. Again, this is not helping at all. Okay, this increases anti-Semitism, and it's frustrating because like we can focus on actual crimes that people have actually committed, like Netanyahu and Ben Gvir, etc. Extreme right radical Zionists from the river to the sea, and likely want to expand outwards beyond Gaza into other areas because they want to fulfill biblical prophecy. And there are people within the U.S. and Canada that also want to support and enable biblical prophecy. That again, it's being way misinterpreted as well. It is what it is, and a lot of grifting going on. But I'm seeing more and more now that people are like more pro Israel committing genocide or Netanyahu committing genocide, and so now I see that the messaging and the money has worked. And so people are buying more into Netanyahu being this like hero type, and now there's going to be more support from the U.S., etc. I'm seeing it, and I said this a little while ago as well. I'm like wondering when look at what we are saying now, and calling out crimes against humanity, war crimes, bribery, grifting, being a traitor, a lot of money being taken out of the U.S. for the military industrial complex to commit these crimes again to support and enable biblical prophecy. That again, it's not accurate, and yeah, and so it's working, and so I've seen that, and I said pay attention to like how easily your mind can change based on messaging, and so anyways, I mean back and forth with people that are hunters, that are veterans, whether it be in the military or law enforcement, etc. And I don't understand, and I'll just keep it. I don't understand how we're coming up with completely different assessments of what's going on, what went on. But anyways, long story longer.
And we just keep hearing different theory after different theory, and they're not coming up with these theories because they actually believe it. They're coming up with these theories because they can keep creating more and more content. And have you noticed that some of these quote, YouTube creators, have come up with multiple theories. And why haven't they stuck with one? Why doesn't that one make sense to them? And that's because every single time they come up with a theory, it gets completely shredded and debunked, so they come up with a new one.
Yep.
Instead of just looking at what's right in front of them. Really simple stuff. So some of the stuff I'm going to talk about is new information, and some of it is just going over the information that we have and trying to figure out different locations, etc. So we have this clip here in the morning, and Candace Owens, who, it's hard to trust anything she says, said that at 8:06 in the morning, this guy's walking right here. All right, but we also know that at I think 9:58, he's walking right up here this direction. So I think it's more likely that that's that same video, and he's walking like this, and maybe he comes around, perhaps even cuts across over here somewhere, don't know, but eventually comes over here and walks over here. And I bet it's more likely 10:06 in the morning. And the reason I say that is law enforcement doesn't have any indication that he was there before 8:26 or 8:30 in the morning is what they say. And we also know that the vehicle is spotted right here at 8:23 driving in this direction. So it's coming around the corner going like that. And you can see that here in the video. So this is what Candace Owens says is 8:06 in the morning. Could be, just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. It seems like that's a continuation of the other walk that actually has a camera on it. And here's that same footage again, just zoomed in. But see, he's got the maroon shirt, the olive green shorts. I don't know if he's got white socks on or his legs are just that white.
Sorry, I just wanted to pause and say those are his legs. They're not socks. I don't think. I think they're his real legs.
A hat, glasses, and a backpack, and his shoes, the Chuck Taylors, it looks like. So he walks by, and then here is his vehicle driving by early in the morning at 8:26 or 8:23. And then right here, he's wearing exactly what he's wearing in the video that we just saw, but this one we have a time frame of 9:57. So I think that other video is a continuation of this walk right here. And here is that new video that we got recently from Chuck Keeler. And in this video, this is just leading up to the shooting of Charlie Kirk. So he's already got the rifle down his pants. He's wearing the backpack. He's wearing the hat. And you can see his right leg, he has to kind of swing forward. And it looks like he's using the backpack to maybe mask the bulge in the back of his shirt. So he walks down here, and then an SUV pulls up next to him, slowing down, and then keeps moving. And if you go over here, this sidewalk is red, so he was probably thinking of parking there, and then realized, oh, I can't park there because the sidewalk is red, like a zone where you can't park, and drove by. It looked kind of interesting originally, but now it's not interesting at all. So you can see he's still right there in the right-hand side. Now he's walking across that street. And then we know he goes down another block or so and then turns left. And then we see him walking on that street coming up here. Let me just show you where that is on the map. So, all right, so what we just saw right there is Tyler Robinson's walking right here, stops here, and then he walks across, and then the video cuts out. And he comes down to this street right here, which is 800 West, and this one is 800 South. So this is 800 South, turns left onto 800 West, and we see him walking just right by these two cameras right here, okay? So we'll go back to that, play it again. And I'm just resetting this, you guys. I mean, this case to me is crystal clear. There's nothing confusing about it. The only thing that it seems to be that we need an answer for is just sort of like the ballistics and what was going on where the bullet stuck in his neck. There isn't a second shooter or anything like that. I mean, it's ridiculous. So they timed the shot. He's up on the roof and pulls the trigger. And then there's another sound at the exact same time. But there's only one sound. I mean, it just really doesn't make sense at all. So here he is walking by the surveillance camera, making his way in. And, this is right around 11, we're getting close to 11:50-ish here. And as we've seen many times, he walks over here, he kind of stops, and then he turns around almost like he was contemplating not doing this or something. And then he turns around and crosses the grass. And then we know that when he turned right there, he walked over this bridge, went into the parking area here, and made his way to this tunnel. And then he walks through the tunnel, and he comes through and goes up a set of stairs in this direction and that direction, but it's below ground. And he makes his way to right here and then comes out right there. And we'll show that right now. And that's a shot from inside the tunnel. I have another video that shows exactly where this is. There's a surveillance camera in that tunnel at the end of it. And then these are the stairs that you go up right at the end of the tunnel. You take a right and then go up these stairs. And then he goes up the stairs, and there's 3 different shots here. There's this one coming up the stairs, and in his pants, you can see the top of the cell phone right there. And he can bend his right knee a little bit. The rifle barrel goes to the knee joint, so he can bend it, but the overall tightness in the pants make it pretty restrictive because there's a gun in there. It looks like maybe down there there's something poking out. And he makes his way up the stairs. Let me just show you what he does. So after going through this tunnel underground here, he comes out right here and likely takes this route because it's not like a main road through campus. You know, it ends right over here. So he walked this direction and then made his way up any one of these number of stairways here to over here. So this image right here is a ladder that is on the side of the building that investigators put up, and it shows right where he came down, and what we're looking at is right there. So anyways, Tyler Robinson heads this direction, goes through a door right there, and that's at 12:02. And then at 12:15, he's seen on camera, and that camera is the same camera, the 360-degree camera that's right here, right on top of that building right there, and it films everything. So it's going to show Tyler Robinson go up onto the roof at 12:15, and then at 12:17 goes over this little wall here and crouches down and assembles his rifle. And he has a limp the whole time. But however, once he gets up from this position at 12:22, he moves over there and the limp is gone. That's because the rifle has been taken out of his pants and assembled, and he's moving with it. And then he makes his way over here and he fires at 12:23 and I think some odd seconds and kills Charlie Kirk. And let's take a look at the stage here. Looks like it's marked right in the center of this general area right here. Although, I mean, this pillar here you would think would be in the middle, but it isn't because this and this are not, it's not right in the middle. It's actually this one over here. So I'm just looking at this area here. But you can see where the tent is. And let's take a look at another image. So here, I mean, crazy, there's even these hats still there, sitting there to be thrown out to different people. But Charlie Kirk was sitting right here, pretty much underneath this little lightning bolt, or maybe even closer to the P right over there. And then we have this image. This is directly above, and that's a really useful image to add to Google Earth. So I've actually put it into Google Earth so you can see exactly where the tent was. There it is right there. And what you can do is, just to show you the accuracy of it, I'll blink it on and off. Look how everything's lined up, all of the different lines, and that's exactly where the tent is. So Charlie Kirk was shot by the killer, Tyler Robinson, right here on this corner, and he was kind of moved over just where he had an angle, but not all the way to the edge. He was kind of like right here. And you can see there was still a shot that he had, and you would not hit the light pole people are talking about. There's a light pole in there, and it's right here. But they hit that, it'd be a terrible shot. You'd be off by like 4 or 5 feet to the left. And so I don't know if that's something that the bullet hit. If it was yawing, it was so far off, hit that and just miraculously hit Charlie Kirk. I just think there's going to be an explanation of, the bullet. Maybe it was a soft point bullet. Maybe it was, it started yawing in the air because it wasn't the correct ammunition for the rifle. We don't know the answer to that question yet. But, as we go through this, haven't we all just sort of noticed that none of the second shooter theories have held any water whatsoever? Now, here's another image that was on the Reuters site right here. And we've seen this one before. And also, just take a look at this. Here's where he was crouched down. They have the exact angle of the shot. See the light pole here? Charlie Kirk was right over there. I mean, there's almost no way that somebody with a rifle aiming with a scope and everything is going to hit this light pole. It's way offline. That means the bullet would have hit over here somewhere, maybe right there in a straight line. But this is really lined up really well here. This is the angle he was lying at. Then we have this image that shows the marks on the roof where he was laying down. And then this is a shot from above where it shows where he's crouched down, maybe his elbows and knees into the gravel on the roof there. And then here's another shot. That shot was kind of confusing. I was trying to figure out what that was, but turns out that is right here. If you go onto the roof and you kind of go right over to where he shot from and then go like that, that's right here, right? That's what we're looking at. And so you can see he was right there on the edge. He fired. And this is a video of Tyler Robinson on the roof.
Get right up.
Yeah. You think he'd already be in place?
You would think that.
Now, these guys are 160 yards away. So for him to go, oh, he's wearing camo, he's doing this, it's garbage. We've seen video of the person on the roof. This guy is mistaken.
I said that from the beginning as well. Like, how can you tell from that distance? And they did shut off just before Charlie Kirk got shot. I thought at one point that this video was from a while before, but I was wrong. I corrected that within 12 hours at the beginning, like 2 weeks ago now. But yeah,
We see the video on the roof of Tyler
I don't
Robinson
believe that
running
guy.
off the roof and climbing and wrapped in a black towel.
So there's somebody on the roof over there? Just saying?
So Candace Owens again is trying to say, oh, this guy talking to me, oh, he was wearing camo, he was a different kind of gun, etc. They're 160 yards away. They are not going to be able to see. Even zooming in on this, it makes it blurry, so they're not going to be able to see it. They could see him running, and they could see a silhouette. Maybe that's why they thought it was all black.
Just ran from over. Where's my finger? Whoa. From over there, ran in. And now he's right there. Just saying. Just getting right up.
So I think after that, about 10 to 15, maybe even 20 seconds later, was the gunshot. So these guys probably kept the camera rolling. I wonder what else they might have on that camera. All right, so this is when Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk, and then he runs off the roof. I mean, it's just so crystal clear, everybody. I don't know why. Everybody thinks, Gray, you're just putting out the official narrative. And by the way,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. People are saying, oh, that was staged, that was planned. Like people put that there. You literally see video of him from people on the interweb that are sharing him on the roof. You see the position that makes sense that he would be shooting from in order to get that shot at Charlie Kirk. I've said he was like and he comes to the same conclusions. He was possibly going for a headshot, missed, went low, hit him in the neck, and so people want to see things that are not there. I don't even understand why. It's kind of frustrating because I'm sharing this information, which to me gives almost irrefutable evidence that this was Tyler Robinson that did the shot that assassinated Charlie Kirk. And I believe he's an evil human being. I think he's a horrible human being. And I think that the death penalty is something that is absolutely warranted in this case. And I don't say that lightly, by the way. And so people like Candace Owens, like they're completely sabotaging this. And I don't understand because if that was a friend of hers and she's grifting, making so much money off of this, she's actually like making it seem like this wasn't Tyler Robinson. She's literally saying that in these videos. So she's actually trying to make it where the actual villain in this situation, like people are now questioning whether it was him or not. So I don't understand what she's doing. So if there's people that get selected for the jury and they're watching her videos, which could be very likely because she has millions and millions of viewers on these videos that are so wrong and ridiculous to me, respectfully speaking. And I do adore Candace Owens. Look at my previous videos. I'm not saying that she's not, just that she doesn't have some good content, but she's really out of pocket with this one. And it's really unfortunate. And it's made me lose respectfully I said respectfully, it's made me lose a lot of respect for her because again, she is sabotaging this by what she's doing. And if that was a friend, you would want the person that murdered your friend to go to jail. Not say, oh, it wasn't him. What? I just don't understand. That was your friend?
I'm getting sick of the word narrative. It's almost like, here's their narrative. It's a completely, fictional thing. They're just telling a different story. I think the people putting out narratives are the people on YouTube inventing things. The information we've seen has been factual information put out by law enforcement, video surveillance footage, text message exchanges between Tyler Robinson and the boyfriend, etc. All right, so let's move on to the next portion. That's him standing up. Now, I don't know if that's right before the shooting or just after, but I remember originally noticing the white area there, and he does have a white logo on his shirt. So we'll just play the video from here. And this is the video that I made. I stabilized it. You can see him running on the roof. I slowed it down. And then here is Tyler Robinson running off the roof. So that's the same person. Now you can tell this person isn't wearing camouflage, but it's all black looking from a distance in the sun. It even looks like that on their video, but this isn't camouflage or anything like that. And then right in this area, he's about to jump off the roof here. You can see right now he swings up a long object wrapped in a black towel, jumps down. His glasses fall off. He picks up his glasses, and while he's running over here, he puts the glasses on with his left hand, tries to put it on his head, and then he runs across the grass over here. And then eventually he makes his way over to the street. All right, now there's another picture in the Reuters document where there's a photographers, investigators looking over at into the woods over here. You see the spot? So that seems like a logical place where they think maybe he went into the woods. Maybe they can see him on camera go into the woods there. We don't know exactly where he put the gun. We've seen images of cones, etc., out there. But this location, however, is right over here. It's actually right next to where I put gun found in woods originally, just luck. So we go down to Street View here, and we're in October 2023. And if you look down here and compare this little line on the sidewalk there and the paint disruption, and you take a look at this picture right here, you can see. So you see right there, it's a little bit more worn, but that's right here, and this is right here. This little piece is here, and then we have the thick separation, and then we have this is matching that, etc. But this Street View is a year, almost 2 years ago, so there's extra worn spaces there, but that is the spot. And also notice the two different types of trees. We've got this type of tree here and that one, and then right there and there. So I think we have the right spot. So that means on Google Earth, they are looking where he went into this area right here. And maybe he did put the gun in a different location. And I wonder if earlier in the day when we see him walking like this, is this when he, went into the area that he scouted out and figured out where he was going to put the gun later, the drop point that he was talking about. So, after the shooting, that happened. Then he walks, somehow makes it over here, and we see some really grainy footage of who they believe is Tyler Robinson running back here, and then he runs right here. So I think what it means is his vehicle was parked somewhere up in this area right here, because he comes walking into the area originally like this, coming south on 800 South, and then he must be going back up that direction later, because you wouldn't want to walk a long ways with a rifle in your pants. All right, so this is new information right here. We found out that Tyler Robinson, the 22-year-old accused of assassinating Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University earlier this month, made contact with a police officer near where investigators recovered the alleged murder weapon wrapped in a towel in the woods at the edge of campus, according to two law enforcement sources. Bo Mason, commissioner of the Utah Department of Public Safety, confirmed to Fox News that Robinson circled back to the campus to retrieve the rifle. So this matches exactly what was written to the boyfriend. Now, there's a lot of people that won't have heard this part because they watch about, I don't know, a quarter of the video and they quit watching because it doesn't fit their narrative. So this is, I think, really important information here that the contents of that interaction were not prepared to reveal right now. So that's crazy, right? I mean, that means it's probably captured on body camera, or it could be that they took notes and described the encounter with Tyler Robinson. So again, the contents of that interaction were not prepared to reveal right now. That's part of the investigation and part of gathering more information. Mason said the interaction happened on September 10th, but much later in the evening after the sniper's bullet struck Kirk in the neck as he was engaging the audience during a speaking event sponsored by UVU chapter of his organization. The officer was guarding the perimeter after authorities placed the campus on lockdown, and the encounter appears to have thwarted the suspect's attempt to recover the Mauser 30-06 rifle prosecutors allege was used to kill Kirk. Mason added that investigators have been able to track Robinson's movements to local businesses and other places in and around the area. We know he visited a restaurant eatery or he made a purchase for food, just kind of a normal interaction. Kind of like Brian Koberger when he goes over to Clarkston, Washington, and just sort of drives around and buys a coffee right after he killed 4 people. Yeah, and I think they're referring to the image that Candace Owens put out at the Dairy Queen. Yeah, so this information right here backs up information that was in the text exchange he had with Twiggs. In another message, Robinson allegedly wrote he was stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta get my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you. You weren't the one who did it, right? The roommate texted back. I am. I'm sorry, Robinson allegedly replied. And then, I thought they caught the person. No, they grabbed some crazy old dude.
I think the boyfriend knew.
They interrogated someone in similar clothing.
I think that was a pre-scripted, pre-planned text conversation in order to remove any complicity. And I hope that comes out.
Came another alleged reply from Robinson. I had planned to grab my
to clarify,
rifle from the drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering. So maybe that's the officer he encountered. Later in the conversation, he allegedly reiterated that he was looking for a chance to grab the rifle. There is a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot. And so I bet you at the very end, he was like, I got to go try something. And then he encountered the officer and, just kind of slickly got out of it because he looked like just a regular student. Probably even had a conversation like, "Wow, what's going on?" And he's trying to figure out if he had the ability to go get that rifle. And in another Fox News article, it says Robinson was on the loose for 33 hours after shooting and killing Kirk on September 10th at a Turning Point USA event on campus of Utah Valley University. What he did during that time frame largely remains a mystery, though Fox News Digital learned Thursday that he had an encounter with law enforcement near the campus at around 6:30 p.m. That's crazy. So did he go to the Dairy Queen after that? Which is odd because the Dairy Queen is heading in the opposite direction of heading home. And there's another Dairy Queen that's closer to, where he could be exiting onto the highways and heading back to where he lives. So, I mean, it's pretty interesting that right around 6:30, he is hovering still in the area. And I bet you he's on different surveillance footage cameras. As a matter of fact, that same 360-degree camera that we know is right here likely picked him up walking on the street over here, talking to an officer. And it could even be back here, I guess, if there's an officer blocking the streets back in this area and keeping them from the woods. You know what I think law enforcement should have done was just had officers watching that location specifically and waiting for somebody to maybe come back and retrieve it. But do it clandestinely where you're just sort of surveilling the area, watching,
That's a good idea.
watching,
That's what we do
because
for
he
IDs.
would have went back and grabbed that gun. And we also know Tyler Robinson's DNA was on the trigger of the gun itself. It was on a screwdriver that was found on the roof, and the towel and screwdriver found on the roof was likely used to assemble the 1906 Mauser 30-06 that Tyler Robinson used to kill Charlie Kirk. To me, this case is really simple, and I'm just out here trying to put out the real information. I know it's always interesting to come up with all these conspiracy theories and different stories and things because everybody wants it to be some bigger conspiracy instead of thinking that, man, there's crazy people out there that do crazy things, just like the guy who shot up the ICE facility in Dallas, Texas. It's crazy. All right, you guys, I want to say thank you for watching the video. Just realize that there are...
Yeah. He's been on a roll. I'm going to carry on with this because I do long version videos because everyone is out there with these short sound bites, clickbait, and stuff like that without properly unpacking situations.
Hello, this is Gray Hughes of Gray Hughes Investigates on YouTube. Please hit that like button, share the video, and subscribe. Today's video is going to be regarding this new theory. It's not even really that new, but it's become really popular lately, how this gunshot came in from behind and the exit wounds in the neck of Charlie Kirk. And it's absolutely ludicrous and it's disgusting. Somebody out there is really peddling it as the range day bro. And then he puts up a picture of Paramount Tactical and somebody else.
Yeah, I've been calling out those same people over the weeks, and it was so nice seeing this video last night, these videos last night, because it just corroborates the things that I was saying over the past few weeks or couple weeks.
As an example of, look, they're talking about a ricochet. Oh, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. And I tell you what, Paramount Tactical has way more integrity than this guy does. The information he put out in this video is so ludicrous and embarrassing that anybody watching it and believing it should also go get their head examined. Okay, this guy does not know what the hell he is talking about. All right, so let's get started on it right now. See this image right here? This is where Charlie Kirk was sitting. If you take a look at this next image right here, what I do is side by side. This is Google Earth, and this distance from here to there is about 10 feet to there. So I would imagine Charlie Kirk was sitting 8 to 10 feet from this wall. You can see I've got it pretty much in the exact same position there. He's sitting about 8 to 10 feet from the wall. All right, so we take a look at that. So just realize that right now. Then the theory that this person puts out is, okay, here the bullet comes in like this from the left, and then there's this information, like he calls it blood drops. I mean, he doesn't even know what the hell it's called, but that's not what this is. See, if you look at both these images, you have this one and this one. That looks like a string of some sort, like maybe it's a necklace, a chain, some sort of item that Charlie Kirk was.
It is a necklace chain. I have shared clear footage, multiple different clips of the chain falling off.
Wearing, and it got blown off by the bullet. It's not blood spatter. They believe that that is blood spatter right here coming off of Charlie Kirk. And then they say that the bullet exits his neck right there. There's another shot. I'm not going to show it, but there's a hole right there. And it goes in from the back right and then out the front left of his neck. All right. And they claim it's this guy right here. This is an actual sniper. Oh my God, everybody. You know, and then you look at other pictures and look at there, the guy that's right there. There's a guy sitting right up there. You can see it. It's absolutely incredible, everybody. Can you see it? Can you look? If I go like this, well, look, it's right there. Look. It's right there. Can you see it? It's incredible. And then we go to this shot, and it's just above these people. So these people are standing there, and just above there is this bush creature character. It's unbelievable. Look at this one. Again, that's the same shot right up in there. All right, now let's take a look at this shot. There it is. Oh my God, everybody, look at it standing up now. You can see it. It doesn't have the skin tone there, but it's got to be a shooter. It's unreal. Oh my God, I've got chills. All right, now zoom in over here. Look at this guy. Ooh, good stuff there, Range Day Bro. Really, really high quality work here. Notice we've got this image right there that seems to be skin tone. It's clear in his mind that that's a shooter. He's pointing out, okay, that's the gun right there. It's aimed and everything, and he's shooting. And then you take this picture here. Look at, he's got a little image here. Look at that. Wow, that's exactly what this person's doing. Oh my God, they're up there. Now, all I can think of is, was he wearing this suit right here? This looks like exactly what that person is wearing. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised at all if they actually did an overlay of this. I mean, if you turn it on and off, it seems to match up really perfectly. So they've got a tree shooter up there, a guy wearing a complete bush as an outfit, and you can see his face right through there. It's absolutely unbelievable, everybody. How do we know this isn't really what's happening? It's amazing. Maybe it's something like this, perhaps a Sasquatch-looking bush. We're just not really sure at this point. All right, now let's take a look back at this image again. This is 8 to 10 feet away. Charlie Kirk is sitting. And again, we can use the comparison image right here. That looks like basically the same angle. You see over there is right there and all up around in there. And he's sitting right here. Okay, he's not way over here or anything like that. So now let's go to Google Earth here. And this is the shot from the ground that videographer took. And now we're going to go up to where the bush is. It's right here. All right, the bush is actually on Google Earth. It's right here. I guess apparently in 2024, he was still camped out there because that's when this Google Earth image is from. So he was camped out there even back then. It's absolutely incredible. But the key here is look at the angle of the bullet. It goes backwards. That means if it hit the back of his head, it would have gone out the back and eventually hit this building over here, not do a right turn and go out the front of his neck. You see what I'm saying? It's absolutely ludicrous. So they have the bullet coming in and then coming out the front of his neck. So if you imagine, Charlie Kirk is facing that direction, and the bullet comes in, it would hit the back of his head, and then the bullet would continue that direction, not do a right turn and shoot out the front of his neck. You see how stupid that is? See, this person didn't even look up the basics here. It was just a absolute sensationalistic video to get as many clicks and views as possible, and it is complete garbage. All right? Now let's take a look at this video right here. This is one a videographer.
I get killed. Yeah. Well, thanks, guys.
And here's when the shot occurs.
We appreciate you. You can go down and see the.
All right, here we go.
Are they like restricting you guys up here or what? It's just there's just so much. So before we had a flag and we had it so it's positioned above the tent so it would be in the camera and it's moved. What was that?
All right, so that's when the shot occurs, and then he moves around and he actually looks over there. So look, there it is right there. So apparently after the shot, the bush just stayed still the entire time. It's amazing. So you can see the bush right up in there. I can't really zoom in on it, but it's right in that location where my mouse is. You can see the little dark spot. That's where the bush is, and other people were.
So you hear the crack bang. Sounds like a hunting rifle. I'm a hunter. I was an infantry officer for over 15 years. I've been in advanced firearms instruction, etc. I'm only saying this is not a brag, but there are people that are going even on redacted, and they're claiming to be gun experts that are saying this absolutely wasn't a rifle. This absolutely wasn't Tyler Robinson. And they were talking about like just the blood spatter and all this stuff, and the mics. Like this is so nonsensical to me. It's actually ridiculous. And so I was going to go on to other points here, but I forget what I was going to say. Damn it, sorry.
Standing down here, but it's right there. There's a door here that goes out up there. Okay, here we go.
And so people saying that this came from the mic, like you hear, like you very clearly in that video that just like, and so did that come from the mic? That sound came from the mic? Come on, guys. Come on.
And it's not moving. It's not moving. Not moving at all. We'll keep moving it, and then he goes down here. Now he's at the bottom level. Look, that bush is still sitting there. My God, that guy has some good patience. You think he would have snuck out, but maybe he didn't want to be seen as a moving bush, so he stayed sitting there. That's incredible.
People are saying, "Oh, I thought it was anyway." A pistol, the mic thing, all of this debunked just by that sound alone. That shot fired.
You know. So now we're going to look at drone footage. This ought to clear it up. He should be gone from there at this point, right? Up, look at that. That's amazing. The bush is still sitting right there. Can you see it? That is incredible, everybody. The bush is right there. It's still in position. All right, so let's just zoom in. This is Taylor USA video here. Let's zoom in. Look at that. The bush is still sitting right there. So I guess even later in the day, it waited till the evening and just stayed really still and made sure it didn't move. Now you'll say, well, where's that part that goes up at the top? I think that video, that image that you guys are seeing is absolutely manipulated. And there's a bush right here. There isn't somebody standing there. We just showed you that the shot angle doesn't make sense. It would actually go out the back side of his head if it hit the back of his head from that angle. So these people are absolutely full of crap when they put this out there. We also know that from Andrew Colvett, he said that the bullet absolutely should have gone through, which is very normal for a high-powered, high-velocity round. I've seen wounds from this caliber many times, and they always just go through everything. This would have taken a moose or two down, an elk, etc. But it didn't go through. Charlie's body stopped it.
Would have taken a moose or two down. Again, even just hearing this, I just can't even believe people are actually posting this and touting themselves as actual experts.
So it apparently was stuck in there. His bone was so healthy and the density was so impressive that he's like the man of steel. It should have gone through and through. Okay, we have that. Now you might go, oh, it's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy. And even Candace Owen, the biggest conspiracy theorist of them all,
and I watched the footage, and I'm going to tell you what I saw. And I think it should be shared. There's nothing gory about this footage from the back. The thing that really stood out to me, and I just kept asking him to replay it over and over and over again, is that there's no blood from the back. There is no blood. So I think a lot of people were wondering whether or not that bullet pierced and went out the back. And I watched the footage, and I'm going to tell you what I saw.
Yeah, so we just heard what she saw. She didn't see anything. The blood did not come out the back. That means the bullet didn't go out the back. You would think she would be in line with the rest of the conspiracy theorists, but it didn't go out the back of his head. That's because the bullet is from Tyler Robinson on the roof. And Tyler Robinson was right over here on this roof, and he fired. I think the key is just trying to figure out why the bullet stopped in his neck. The gun was a 1906 30-06 Mauser. I'm not a gun expert, but we did research this, and sometimes these older guns, they can't handle newer ammunition, or perhaps Tyler Robinson used, less powerful ammunition, and perhaps it had sort of a keyholing effect. From this distance, even if it slowed down to 15 to 2,000 feet per second, it would still penetrate the skin, but if it's coming in at a little bit of a
Still not clear because the autopsy report has not been released. We're going to get a lot more information when court trial is underway. And so there are people that were saying, like Alex Jones, for example, and again, I don't believe everything he shares. I've called out a few things that he said that I think are completely bogus, but he gets a lot of information right. And he does share a lot of good content regarding specific things. And he had said that from his contacts or his sources, that it entered the neck, possibly went through 4 vertebrae before going down into the chest cavity, hitting the heart, like possibly fragmenting. Again, I don't know exactly what happened inside, but I think we're going to find out if the autopsy report is finally released. Again, I think it can't be released right now because this would be something that would impede the hearings. And then exploded his heart, which is why people were saying like, oh, there's like no gut blood pumping out or anything like that. The heart had been struck either by the bullet itself or a fragment of it. And then it ended up possibly in his shoulder, in his left shoulder, like from the inside. So not something that was just under the skin and the neck, from what I'm gathering. And that's something that made sense to me from the beginning as well. If you look at my earlier videos, as to like I said, if there's no exit wound, then it's likely it likely struck the bone, et cetera, and then went down into his body.
Like the bullet's rotating. When it hits, it might actually have a lot more impact and force on the.
That's why there was so much blood almost immediately that was gushing out, because you had like the heart wasn't pumping. It was like it was struck. And there was a lot of blood, again, that was pooling and stuff like that. And then it just came out. And but again, that's why there wasn't that pulsating.
Surface area in a larger area. Possibly. But the bullet might actually stop in there because there's a lot more friction against the bullet. Because it's not going in, it's not piercing, in a tight spiral going through. It's literally tumbling. And I think from that distance, it wouldn't have time to veer off target too much. I would assume it's sort of like a knuckleball in baseball, where there's no rotation on the baseball, and the wind factor kind of makes the ball sort of move around a little bit. I would imagine if there was very little wind, this is in sort of a bowl here, maybe there isn't a lot of wind in there, so it would still move in the direction, but it would be off. So maybe it was a headshot attempt, and the bullet dropped down and hit him in the neck, and it pierced.
He came to the same conclusions as me that I came to weeks ago. It's amazing.
The skin and lodged in the neck, and maybe that broke the necklace that Charlie Kirk was wearing, and that's what you see behind him there, because he definitely wasn't shot in the back. I think we've absolutely proved that the angle of the shot doesn't make sense. All of you guys talk about ballistics and all this stuff all the time, and we can see right here by looking at this, that's the bush right there. See, this is straight up and down right there. That's the bush. It's still there on Google Earth in 2024. Apparently it didn't move after the drone was flying around. Maybe it was just merged with the bush. He wore an outfit and kind of merged in there and then shot. Except the problem is that the bullet came in from this angle, it would have gone this way, not taken a immediate right turn out Charlie Kirk's neck. And that's absolutely insane. So what I think is more likely is that Tyler Robinson is perhaps even Bigfoot. Now, I think these crackerjack YouTube phenoms that are coming up with all these nutty conspiracy theories, we might be able to make this a bigger story. If you look closely here, does that even look like a human being? You see this big mouth right there. It almost looks like a turtle, and almost like he's wearing a skull cap there, but he does have the backpack on. But notice the gait, how similar it is to Bigfoot. How do we know, everybody, that Bigfoot is not actually Tyler Robinson, or vice versa? You know, maybe Bigfoot is dressed up as Tyler Robinson and he did the shot. Now, where he got the gun, I don't know, but I heard Bigfoot's been around a long time, and maybe back in 1906, one of his family members stole a 30-06 and passed it down generation to generation of Bigfoot babies, and now he ends up with it. And for some reason, he went there and did some shooting.
I don't know if you heard it, but he's like, these people are insane. Again, I'm not as harsh, I think, in my critique. I get a little frustrated because, again, I'm having arguments and debates with people literally on a regular basis. No one is on the same page. And it just, I don't really care that much. I'm used to it, especially since COVID. And my videos that I've shared since. Is this the one? Yeah, this is a longer one, so I don't know if I'm going to play the whole thing, but I'm going to share some of it because, again, I want to be thorough.
Freaks. Hey, thanks, Christopher Mashburn.
This was his live feed from last night that I went on, and I actually gave him a donation and a comment that he actually read, and yeah, so that was cool. I love supporting channels like this. I think more people should do it. Like, this guy is great. And I will say, like, he and I are not aligned on like a few things that are even mentioned in this, that he makes fun of people that believe a certain thing regarding moon landings and other things. But anyways, and these are things that I would love to sit down and discuss with him if he was ever interested. But again, it's not even important. It's like, it's not his expertise. It's not his his bag or his niche. And so, yeah.
All right. Anyways, we had a hearing today. It's kind of weird because I found the spot where you can watch them on their website, but it said that it was in person, but then you saw these different outlets that had the...
So this was posted 11 hours ago.
Well, so here's something that's funny. You know the judge, what's his name? Like, I forgot his name. But he had like about 10 more hearings after that. You know, different cases, not 10, but, you know, let's just say 6 or 7 more. And so there was the next one down that had his video on it. So I clicked on it, and then I joined it, you know, so I could watch it. And then that judge, you know, he goes, "Hey, there's somebody," and there was, and all it was the judge and an attorney and me.
That's pretty funny.
And so the judge goes, "Who's this Gray Hughes guy that's here?" And I was like silent and no video and anything. So then I clicked on the, you know, like I got my mic working. I go, "Oh, you know, I just was trying to see how this thing works. Sorry about that." And he laughed a little bit, and then I just got the hell out of there. I thought I was just going to be watching it. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, I put out a video today and it had 700 views, and I deleted it because I can't afford to have videos do so poorly. All right. But anyways, the very same judge that's talking to Tyler Robinson actually said, "Hey, there's a gray Hughes in here. Are you there?" It's like, why are you talking to me? For God's sakes. Of course, I uploaded my video right when Candace did one of her lives. So nobody's going to see my video.
Yeah.
But yes, you guys, we're doing another show, and here we go with another slow start. So if you're out there and you have the ability to help support the channel, this is our last normal night until tomorrow, which is our donation night. All right, so if you have the ability to help support the channel, we used to always have I was like, you know how it says Utah County Jail? I was one of the, who was the judge, an attorney.
Calling case 251-403-576, State of Utah versus
One more
Tyler
time. I think I
James
wrote it down. I
Robinson.
just want to make sure I got it right.
Calling case 251-403-576, State of Utah versus Tyler James Robinson.
Okay, I got it.
Could you state your name?
Tyler James Robinson.
Thank you for being here,
He
Mr.
didn't
Robinson.
sound like that
I'm
in that
Judge
short
Graff. Mr. Scortis.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. You're probably already aware of my presence or why I'm here, but if not, I am not entering appearance. I'm not counsel on this case. I'm working with the county to get counsel assigned, but we need you to allow for the appointment of counsel.
Thank you, Mr. Scortis. I want to go through the qualifications
Absolutely.
for indigency, but that is my intent, Mr.
And by the way, you guys, if you want to help support the channel, even during these, whenever I play this stuff, it just dies down dramatically, but we can't have that getting this close to the end of the month. So even when this is playing, it's okay. It doesn't make any sound.
Mr. Scortis,
Very well.
and I thank you for being here. So, Mr. Robinson, you have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, the court can appoint an attorney to represent you. I have reviewed your declaration of financial status and find that you are indigent. I'm provisionally appointing a Rule 8 qualified attorney to represent you on your case, Mr. Robinson. Along with their filing of their appearance of counsel, the assigned attorneys must file declarations with the court that outline their qualifications under Rule 8 and Rule 8C. Under Rule 8B and Rule 8C for counsel appointment in a case where death may be a sentencing option. I'm ordering that those declarations be filed prior to the next hearing date, which is set for September 29th at 10 a.m. Mr. Robinson, I also wish to inform you of your rights against self-incrimination. Anything that you say in court today could be used against you, and we want to protect your constitutional rights. Mr. Robinson, at this time, you will remain in custody without bail. Mr. Scortis, is there any other points that you wish to address?
No, thank you very much, Your Honor.
Turning to the state.
Yes, Your Honor. Chad Grunander for the state. I'm also joined, and they're listed as attendees.
As I said a minute ago, we're going to play the two in a row. It's only 25 minutes long to hear both in a row. Okay, so it'd be good just to sort of hear this and then go right into the next today's.
Ryan McBride, Lauren Hunt, David Sturgill, and Chris Ballard. We are the trial team on this case.
Thanks. Well,
I do have a few points I'd like to bring up with Your Honor. We have filed a pretrial protective order on behalf of Erica Kirk. We would ask the court to review that. It should be in your queue, Your Honor, and sign that.
Thank you. I have reviewed the pretrial protective order and will be issuing this pretrial protective order in favor of Erica Kirk. Is there any other business that we need to address today, counsel?
Just for the court's information, we did file just recently, within the last few minutes, a notice of intent to seek the death penalty that was filed by Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray. So that should be in the court's file.
That's not there.
Lastly, I would just indicate to the court and to, at this point, Mr. Robinson, that we are prepared to collect all of the discovery in this matter and get that turned over to the defense as soon as possible. Rule 16 requires us to provide what we have relied on in charging the information and bringing the.
Why did it stop playing? Uh-oh. Anytime you get that thing when it sort of stops like that, this Adobe Premiere is very what do you call it? Just unstable. It's crazy. Looks like it's like yeah. See, there you go. Let's see.
File.
Who's Eric Koberger? It's Brian.
Lastly, I would just indicate to the court and to, at this point, Mr. Robinson, that we are prepared to collect all of the discovery in this matter and get that turned over to the defense as soon as possible. Rule 16 requires us to provide what we have relied on in charging the information and bringing these charges within 5 days once it's requested. So that'll be prepared to disseminate to the defense as soon as possible.
Thank you, Mr. Grunander. Mr. Robinson, what I also want to do is you have the right to have the charges read that you stand charged of, and I wish to read those to you at this time. Thank you. Mr. Robinson, for count 1, aggravated murder, a capital felony in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-5-202, in that on September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, intentionally or knowingly caused the death of Charlie Kirk under the following circumstances. The defendant knowingly created a great risk of death to another individual other than Charlie Kirk and the defendant. Notice conviction of this offense may carry the death penalty. or pursuant to Utah Code 76.3-207.7, a mandatory term of imprisonment for life without parole, or an indeterminate term of not less than 25 years, that may be for life. Victim targeting enhancement in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-3-203.14 sub 2. Tyler James Robinson intentionally selected Charlie Kirk because of Tyler James Robinson's belief or perception regarding Charlie Kirk's political expression. Notice, if the trier of fact finds beyond a reasonable doubt that the victim targeting enhancement applies, the sentencing judge or the Board of Pardons and Parole shall consider the defendant's selection of the victim as an aggravating factor. Violent offense committed in the presence of a child aggravating factor. The sentencing judge or the Board of Pardons and Parole shall consider as an aggravating factor in their deliberations that the defendant committed a violent criminal offense in the presence of a child. Count 2, felony discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily injury, a first-degree felony, in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-11-210 sub 2 and 3C, in that on September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant Tyler James Robinson discharged a firearm in the direction of Charlie Kirk, knowing or having reason to believe that Charlie Kirk may be endangered by the discharge of the firearm and that the act caused serious bodily injury to Charlie Kirk. Victim targeting enhancement in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-3-203.14 sub 2. Tyler James Robinson intentionally selected Charlie Kirk because Tyler James Robinson's belief or perception regarding Charlie Kirk's political expression. Notice, if the trier of fact finds beyond a reasonable doubt that the victim targeting enhancement applies, the sentencing judge or the Board of Pardons and Parole shall consider the defendant's selection of the victim as an aggravating factor. Violent offense committed in the presence of a child, aggravating factor. The sentencing judge or the Board of Pardons and Parole shall consider an aggravating factor in their deliberations that the defendant committed a violent offense in the presence of a child. Count 3, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-8-306 sub 2, in that on September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant Tyler James Robinson, with intent to hinder, delay, or prevent the investigation, apprehension, prosecution, conviction, or pursuant to any person regarding conduct that constitutes a criminal offense, conceal or remove the firearm used to shoot Charlie Kirk, and the conduct that constitutes an offense would be a capital felony or a first-degree felony. Count 4, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony in violation of Utah Code 76-8-306 sub 2, in that on or about September 11th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant Tyler James Robinson, with an intent to hinder, delay, or prevent the investigation, apprehension, prosecution, conviction, or punishment of any person regarding conduct that constitutes a criminal offense, destroyed, concealed, or removed the clothing he wore during the shooting, and the conduct that constitutes an offense would be a capital felony or first-degree felony. Count 5, tampering with a witness, a third-degree felony in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-8-508, in that on or about September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, believed that an official proceeding or investigation was pending or about to be instituted or intended to prevent an official proceeding or investigation, and attempted to induce or otherwise cause his roommate to withhold testimony, information, a document, or an item to wit, directing his roommate to delete incriminating text messages. Count 6, tampering with a witness, a third-degree felony in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-8-508, in that on or about September 11th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, believed that an official proceeding or investigation was pending or about to be instituted or intended to prevent an official proceeding or investigation, and attempted to induce or otherwise cause his roommate to withhold testimony or information, to wit, directing his roommate to stay silent if the police questioned the roommate. Count 7, violent offense committed in the presence of a child, a Class A misdemeanor in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-3-203.10 sub 2 and 76-3-203.14 sub 3a little double I, in that on or about September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, committed criminal homicide in the physical presence of a child younger than 14 years of age, with knowledge that a child was present and that may have been seen or heard the commission of the criminal homicide. Victim targeting enhancement in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-3-203.14 sub 2, Tyler James Robinson intentionally selected Charlie Kirk because of Tyler James Robinson's belief or perception regarding Charlie Kirk's political expression. That concludes reading the information. Mr. Robinson, this case is set for September 29th at 10 a.m. It will be a waiver hearing, and I will be the judge assigned to this case. Mr. Robinson, I invite you to join us at that time. Is there anything further, counsel?
No, Your Honor, we'll have counsel appointed by then. Thank you.
Mr. Gurander, anything further?
One item, just for clarification, Your Honor, the hearing on the 29th, is that in person or WebEx?
Thank you. That is a great question. It will be via WebEx.
Okay. Thank you, Judge.
All right. I want to thank all parties for being here, and this concludes this hearing at this time. Court is in recess.
All right. This one's today.
Please be seated. Good morning. Court is now in session.
I don't know about you, but I thought that was hilarious. Does he look like he's in a good mood when he hits that gavel? Look like he just goes, screw this. Wait, watch this.
Please be seated. Good morning. Court is now in session.
That's freaking hilarious, man. Yeah, you're just like, I mean, it's like, let's do that again. Let's do that again.
Please be seated. Good morning. Court is now in
I gotta take a crap.
session.
God, I gotta do this case again. You freaking. I don't know. One more time.
Please be seated. Good morning. Court is now in session.
Oh man, that's amazing. Oh, geez.
Calling the case 251403576, State of Utah versus Tyler James Robinson. Counsel, could you enter your appearances, please?
Chad Brunender, Jeff Gray, Lauren Hunt, Ryan McBride, and Chris Ballard for the state, Your Honor.
Good morning, counsels.
Good morning, Your Honor. Kathy Nestor, Michael Burt, and Richard Novak on behalf of Mr. Robinson.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning to you all.
Morning.
And to the jail. Do we have Mr. Robinson present?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Robinson, good morning to you as well. Counsel, as we begin, I have entered orders allowing the admittance of Mr. Michael Burt, Mr. Richard Novak, pro hoc vice, and appointing them along with Ms. Catherine Nestor to be Mr. Robinson's counsel. The court enters findings that the combined...
Hey, thanks, CR. Look at that. 5 gifted memberships. There we go. Look at that. Ding, 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 ding. Fort the Mom. Whatever the hell that one. EI Rule. I remember you from a long time ago. Johnny Ringo. Beekeeping Roots. And Ed Fox.
Experience of counsel meets and exceeds the requirements of Rule 8. Counsel, do we have... what would we like to accomplish today?
I have 2 items, Judge. I just wanted to make a record that under Rule 16 of the Utah Rules of Criminal Procedure with respect to discovery, the state is required to provide to the defense within 5 days of the defense's request the discovery that we relied on in making this charging decision. We'll be prepared to do that, so we'll look for defense counsel's request or the next day or so, and we'll provide that to the defense.
Thank you.
We also, for the court's information, we met this morning with the defense team briefly in our office to talk about discovery and the process. So we'll be working together. There is a substantial amount of discovery in this case, Your Honor. It's voluminous, to say the least, and we're working on a process where we can exchange information as quickly as possible and be efficient in that process. The other item I had, Your Honor, I saw that over the weekend, there was a protection order, pretrial and trial publicity order entered by Your Honor. And I just was seeking some clarification. On page 2, at the end of the first paragraph, it reads, "To that end, lawyers participating in the investigation or litigation of this case shall inform all witnesses, investigators, consultants, staff members, or other members of prosecution or defense teams that the prohibitions..."
Like this already is an open and shut case. When his attorney, see, they're acting very similar to Ann Taylor. There's a lot of voluminous data here. It's going to take a while to get through this. It's going to take a while for us to see what's on it. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, well, just look at it. Okay, the video is going to tell you the story, and then you'll have to try to maybe start advising your client. You're not going to find any outs or any sort of little glitches and things that you can work with, like the nut jobs that are out there on YouTube, pretending that they can see things that the investigators haven't seen yet. Right?
Contained about the prohibitions contained in this order.
Although I have done that on my channel and actually literally done that, found stuff that they hadn't seen yet. Isn't that amazing?
The state, we're seeking some clarification with respect to the phrase "all witnesses," Your Honor. There are a number of witnesses that have yet to be identified that would likely be used in the state's case. This occurred in front of 2,000 to 3,000 students at Utah Valley University. So we're in the process of identifying those witnesses. And so those individuals are presently unknown right now. So we're looking for a little clarification from the court. And I suppose we're not going to make any arguments today, but there may be some follow-up pleadings that we may need to file.
Thank you. Ms. Nestor, did you want to be heard about that issue?
No, Your Honor, we would defer to whatever the court wants to advise them on that matter. I think it's fairly obvious that we don't know who all the witnesses are in this case yet. I think it's just important that if anyone is identified that they have information about this order. So I think other than that, we wouldn't weigh in on any other matter.
Thank you. Well, thank you for that question. That's an important one. The court will rule that as the witnesses become known to each side, that information is conveyed to abide by this order. Obviously, there are potentially many witnesses, and so it's not the expectation that you would be able to do that up front. But as they become known, I would ask that you would inform them of this. Anything else, counsel?
Hey, Anthony.
Nothing from the state. Nothing else, Judge.
Thank you. Ms. Nestor.
Thank you, Your Honor. We recognize that we are here today for a waiver hearing. It is not our intent to waive a preliminary hearing in this matter. We are going to be seeking that one be set. However, based largely on what the state just referred to as far as the voluminous nature of the discovery materials, we do think it would be prudent to simply reset for another conference, another waiver hearing, a little bit down the road where we have a better idea once we start seeing the discovery as it rolls in. I do recognize we're going to be getting that first batch in 5 days, but it's my understanding from our meeting today that there is massive amounts of digital that is going to be coming. And until we can kind of get our heads around exactly what we're dealing with and how much we need to process, it's going to be difficult for us to give you a reasonable expectation of when we will be ready to do the prelims. So we're asking today that we put that decision off, and maybe we can check in 30 to 60 days and just kind of let the court know where we're at and how much we're looking at and how much time we may need to set a preliminary hearing. Also,
well, the thing is, the preliminary hearing is going to be, that will be interesting. There will be new stuff in that, in the preliminary hearing. So that's going to be on October, I think 30th. I thought that's what they said.
So as far as a detention hearing, we are not asking the court to address that issue at this time. Under the statute, the issue is going to come down to the question.
Hey, by the way, if you guys are out there and you have the ability to help support the channel, we got a lot of people watching here. Our donation night is tomorrow night. And, we have every single night on the show, my channel brings in income from you guys. I do ad revenue on my videos. Live streams do not bring in any ad revenue at all, virtually. And so you guys are the sole source of the income on the live stream. So if you're watching and you like the work that I do compared to some of these other clowns out there, I would appreciate the support. All right. And by the way, when people say these people are in good faith, I don't agree with you. I do not believe that these other people out there that are trying to sell the different gunshot angles and stuff actually believe what they're selling you. I think they are doing it intentionally, knowing that it gets the most views, etc. And I just put out information that's factual, and it might be boring to some people. But if you appreciate that, I would appreciate your support, and maybe get some channel memberships for some of these people out here. That would be great. All right. But my channel is given what you never hear out there. A lot of people complain that I try to get the super chats and so forth. But the thing is, they never tell you is that my channel's donated $262,000 out of the income to the channel, not like fundraisers and things like that. $262,000 since January of 2020. So that's pretty good. All right. So if you guys have the ability to, that would be amazing. But if you can't afford to support the channel or don't want to, then don't do it. But if you want to and you can afford it, that would be great. All right. Because my channel does rely on you guys during the live streams. Hey, thanks, David. Amazing channel. Keep up the hard work. So glad to help when I can. Hey, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Hey, sorry to hear that, Sheila. That sucks. And then the judge looked down and said, hey, we have a guy named Hughes here. What are you doing? Or who are you? Or whatever. I was like, what do you mean? I was just thinking in my head, I'm just here to watch. So then I turned on the mic and I said, yeah, I just was clicking around, just trying to, I think I said I accidentally clicked in here or something. And then he kind of laughed, and so did the attorney, and I just got the hell out of there. I thought, and then later I called up the clerk and I asked about how this works. And she goes, oh, you have a right to be there. You just have to say you're there to listen because it's a public hearing. It's like a video. It's there. But anyways, it was funny. It was just kind of weird. I mean, this judge right here is the one that was there that said, who's Gray Hughes? That was pretty funny, though. All right. All right, you guys, we're currently at like 50% of the goal tonight. So if you have the ability, that'd be great to help. Apparently, what I said a minute ago just fell on deaf ears or clanked to the ground, much like this. But I didn't say it just willy-nilly. I'm saying if you have the ability out there and you want to support a channel that actually puts out factual information, that'd be great. I put out a video earlier today during the time Candace Owens was live, and that video absolutely got crushed into the ground, and I deleted it because it was about the shadows on the roof and the whole damn thing that everybody's been asking about, and nobody watched it, and I spent hours making it, and so I deleted it, and I'll just have to try to upload it again or something like that. All right. Oh, yeah, the apple. Where is that? Oh, there it is. But I think, where is that? There, right here. Yeah. I've actually taken a bite of an apple and went like a Tyler Robinson. So therefore, she is smashed in. How in the hell can that even be anybody? Look at that right there. Look at. He's only got half of a mouth. Notice on the left-hand side there. That is weird, Dre. That is weird. Well, what it is called pixelation. The next frame would look clear. That's just what you get sometimes. All right. Look right over here. Oh my God. His index finger and thumb are fused together, everybody. Can you see that? It's absolutely incredible, everybody. Look at that. His index finger and thumb are fused together. In fact, right over here, it appears his left arm is absolutely missing at this point. All right. But guess what? Candace Owens is saying that Tyler Robinson's parents are saying that's not him, even though they called the police, or didn't call the police, but the wife said, hey, this looks like him. Then they called a friend that used to be an ex-law enforcement. Oh, yeah. Wow. Unreal. Let's keep listening to that.
Also appears to have full lips, even though this image is blurry. We're not looking for someone that's got fuller lips. And Tyler Robinson looks broader
I guess right there
than that
looks sort of
individual walking,
yeah,
right?
Who cares
So
about that?
I'm on board with that person walking up the stairs. It's not Tyler Robinson.
Okay, so she's on board with that.
Like it was intentionally blurred.
So she's already she's already saying to everybody that she's on board with the person going up the stairs not being Tyler Robinson. So therefore, she has to believe at this point it's a conspiracy theory.
They also never gave us the footage at all because in order to blur it, they probably needed a static image.
In order
Also,
to
the family
blur
believes
it?
that,
In order to blur it.
and this is really interesting,
Jesus.
Tyler Robinson's apartment was staged after his arrest. Now,
Ooh.
you will recall that I spoke to Lance's family.
Wow.
And one of the things that Lance's family said was, hey, we own that apartment. They pay rent to us. We've never met Tyler Robinson.
Maybe we should, they got any other kind of music we could be playing when she's, let's see. Candace Owens, a woman whose brain faculties has left her a long time ago. Now, let's see. I'm just going to play.
That this apartment got raided. And it's very strange that they immediately cleared Lance as a suspect. And I was told by other people in the department that they wanted to keep that raid very hush-hush. They want anybody to know about the raid. There's no mention of this raid. And Lance immediately gets cleared as a suspect. Why?
How about this one?
According to Tyler's family, they went to that apartment after his arrest, and they felt the apartment was staged, and that intentionally in Tyler's room, a furry bed was placed. Almost sort of in transfer the attributes of Lance onto Tyler. And that's shady. But again, when I put together what I'm being told by Lance's family and what I'm hearing from the Robinson family through a third party, I will say that it matches. It kind of seems like they're agreeing. One family's going, "Hey, Lance is kind of evil. Why is he getting cleared?" The other one's going, "Tyler's not this guy." I think this
is better. Hold on.
Tyler's not this guy. So what the hell is going on? And one of the things that Lance's family said was, "Hey, we own that apartment. They pay rent to us. We've never met Tyler Robinson, but I can tell you that it seems like they were trying to hide the fact that this apartment got raided. And it's very strange that they immediately cleared Lance as a suspect. And I was told by other people in the department that they wanted to keep that raid very hush hush. They didn't want anybody to know about the raid. There's no mention of this raid, and Lance immediately gets cleared as a suspect. Why? According to Tyler's family, they went to that apartment after his arrest, and they felt the apartment was staged, and that intentionally in Tyler's room, a furry bed was placed, almost sort of implying that they're trying to transfer the attributes of Lance onto Tyler. Attributes. And that's shady. But again, when I put together what I'm being told by Lance's family, and what I'm hearing from the Robinson family through a third party, I will say that it matches. It kind of seems like they're agreeing. One family's going, "Hey, Lance is kind of evil. Why is he getting cleared?" The other one's going, "Tyler's not this guy. Tyler's not this guy." So what the hell is going on, guys? What is actually going on right now? The family says that the photo of the young man that is coming up the stairs, which was shared, that blurry image, is definitively not Tyler Robinson. And let me just say, I never thought it looks like him. Look at you. Face looks different. Face looks more narrow. Also, that person looks taller. Every time I say, I'm like, this person is taller than Tyler Robinson. Tyler Robinson also appears to have full lips, even though this image is blurry. We're not looking for someone that got fuller lips. And Tyler Robinson looks broader than that individual walking, right? So I'm on board with that person walking up the stairs is not Tyler Robinson, because I feel like it was intentionally blurred. They also never gave us the footage at all, because in order to blur it, they probably needed a static image. Also, the family believes that, this is really interesting, Tyler Robinson's apartment was staged.
Oh my God, his apartment was staged. I mean, do you guys hear this? I mean, this is pure insanity, right? I mean, a movie wouldn't even put it in there. I mean, I guess the only case I've ever covered that was a movie wouldn't have made would have been Lori and Chad Daybell. Okay, that was about the only one that it was so ridiculous, the story, that a movie wouldn't have made it, but it was a real story. This isn't one of those. This is a case where the shooter is Tyler Robinson. In fact, Tyler Robinson went there. He scouted around in the early morning hours, walked around. Then he continued to scout and probably did a dry run, I think, right around the 10 o'clock, 10:30 out, in that time frame. And then he went back and put the gun down his pants, the rifle barrel, and you see him sort of sliding the leg along as he's going in. That's exactly what you have right here in this picture. He's going up the stairs with the rifle in his legs. He goes up to the, goes up these stairs and eventually makes his way over to the low-C building. At 12:02, enters the low-C building. At 12:15, reaches the roof. After spending some time in the building, he reaches the roof on that sort of area that people can go on, that brown-colored roof. And then from there, at 12:15, he walks over and jumps over the wall at 12:17, and that's where he assembles the rifle. And you go, "Gray, that's not cool. Why are you saying he did it?" Well, let's get through that point. So then he stands up and he runs over there, meaning that now there isn't something in his legs anymore because he's assembled the rifle. He goes over to the end of the roof there, right in that little corner. He kind of scoots over a little bit, lays down, and then fires and kills Charlie Kirk at 12:23-ish, like probably 12:23 and 15 or 20 seconds. Then he stands up and he runs off the roof. Goes to the other side. He runs off the roof, but as he's dangling down, you can see that he's got a black towel covering an elongated item. He jumps down and then he runs across the street and he heads into the woods. And they see all of this on camera. Every single thing that I just said to you is seen on camera, and I think even including the 13 minutes of time when he went into the low-C building. So he goes into the woods, and they see that on camera because one of the officers saw a person, or assumed that the shooter was up there, went up there, and they saw where he was laying. Then they found a camera looking at that area, and lo and behold, there he is. And they tracked backwards all the way out to the tunnel, and then found, then there's even the street cameras of him walking in. So that exists out there. And then law enforcement tracked him into the woods, went into the woods, and lo and behold, they find a rifle wrapped in a black towel. And then you think, God, that was kind of dumb. Why would you leave it there? Well, that's what Tyler Robinson decided to do, because we actually have his text messages with his boyfriend who say that he left it there right away because he sort of needed to, because he changed his clothes in the wooded area. He also left a screwdriver on the roof, where he assembled the rifle, and that had his DNA on it. The rifle they found in the woods had Tyler Robinson's DNA on the trigger and all over the entire rifle and the blanket. So he changed.
Still have questions about the transportation of the firearm and the disassembly or not.
Clothes in there, back to the shorts and the maroon shirt. And then he ran out of there. And then later he tried to come back. An officer actually confronted him at some point. And he was trying to go back to gather the rifle. Now, I would assume that he put back on some jeans, because after collecting it from the woods, he would have had to stuff it back down his pants again, do a similar kind of walk. I bet he had his backpack on when the officer saw him. But he wasn't able to do it. He never felt confident. And he felt alone, and he was kind of afraid. He felt weird about what he did. And he started communicating with his boyfriend, Twigs. And then he drove home. And the parents saw the images released by law enforcement, and they said, wow, that's our kid. And then the father even texted him about, hey, send me a picture of that rifle, because now they know that the rifle that was found matches the one that their kid was given. And he didn't get anything back. I mean, this is, you guys, this is the most obvious case I've ever seen, all right? It's the most obvious case I've ever seen. This guy is absolutely toast. And when they start putting all the surveillance that they have together, he has no chance of getting off on this case. Now, I know there's people out there that want to get off because they need it to be conspiracy, so they can keep going over and over and over and over and over, all kinds of different stuff. All right, but you guys, why are we having one of those other nights tonight where we're just struggling again? All right, we are currently like at 60% of the goal, and tomorrow is our donation night. So hopefully we have a good night tomorrow. But wow, absolutely, Tyler. Let me show you these pictures that I got here. So it's kind of like digging around. So we got this one right here. That one, obviously they're the same person because they're right after each other. See, Candace Owens
Same clothing.
doesn't do the necessary work. All she
Exactly.
does is spend the time on the conspiracy angle. So you see this person right here. That person is the same person that is walking by in the surveillance footage by the house. On the TMZ video. Yeah, what we need is 18 more channel memberships, you guys. Well, that's how far away we're at. Actually, 18, 19, 21 is what we need. All right, to get to, then I'll donate 5 myself. That's how far away we're at. Hey, thanks, Allie Cake. Again, see, Allie Cake is always supporting the channel because so many other people just choose not to. But she's right there every single night, always, helping a little bit somehow. And I always appreciate it. It's like a moment of somebody doing something. All right. And I'm just talking about people that can. They have the close-up, just release him walking up and down, not photo. Yeah, well, this is a video right here, you guys. This is a video. All of this is video. Like, you can see him walking. So you got that one. This one right here is right after that. Okay, it's right after that video, right down in the tunnel that goes underneath the road. Hey, wow, thanks, Shannon. And look at CC right there. Well, that's almost, what did I say? We need 5 more then. Or 7. 7 more channel memberships, and then I'll donate 5. And now we have 34. It sticks out right there. There you go. All right, we go to the next one. So because we already know that the first 2 is him, then this is him. So when Candace says the guy going up the stairs, is she talking about all of them? Because they are all the same person, right? This person here is this person and that person, even though this one is brightened up. And we know that's that person because if we go out to, I think I might have to open up an older, let's see. I'm going to go all the way down here to these, let's see, sequence, maybe like 52 perhaps. Is that right? Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, so look at, here is the one where he's walking down this street. This is that newer footage. And there he is. Got the jeans on, the black shirt, the backpack. I think even if you can go over here, you might be able to see. And he goes right between the white car there and right there. There he is right here. You can see he's got the baseball cap on, right?
I was just going to say
it's
that, yeah.
blurry, but you can just generally make it all out. And it's all obvious. I mean, look at how he's swinging the right leg forward. He's got that same sort of, look at, see that? He's swinging the right leg forward. And he's got a baseball cap. I can see the light hitting the front of it. So you see that. And then just after that, he turns left on a street. So if we were looking from the air here, for people that don't know this, it's just so clear. Right here is where we just saw him walking like this, okay? So he walks down the street, and then he passes this little dead end here, because there's a fence there. Then he goes like this and turns left down this street, and then look at this is the street with all the cracks on it and everything. And then right here, he's picked up on the TMZ video here, and then there was another video released, and that's right here. And he walks by there, and it's the same person. See, here's the TMZ video. That's him walking right there, the first camera, see? Now look at, this is how video works. I'm just going to show you this. If I zoom in like that, what does that look like to you? It's really small. It looks like nothing, okay? But you pull it out a little bit, okay, you can make it out that it's a person walking. And you can see that he's got a hat on, even a baseball hat. Look at right there. There it is. There's the top of it. He's even got, you can even, I think, even see the glasses there. I don't know though. But see when you zoom in how crappy it looks? This is what the conspiracy theorists live on. Hey, thanks, Anakin. Very cool. They live on this stuff, zooming in on nothing, and then they'll go like this. Hey, look, and they'll click on something. I was just going to go over here and go like this. I think it's right there. No, right here. There. Then they go. Look at him right there. You see that? Look at All right. Hey, thanks. Rockin' effing roll. Okay, hold on. And here we go. And there we are. Look at that, you guys. Very cool, very cool. So look, that's what happens when you zoom in on things. But you can tell that that's him. He's got a baseball cap on. It's really obvious, right? There's the backpack. And that was the later shot that shows up in there. Now, here it is again. Now, this one is great because you can actually see the logo in the front of the shirt, that it's the same guy. He's got the glasses on, the hat, and everything. Look at it. And he's swinging the leg forward. So we know it's the same person. Does anybody in here currently disagree that this person right here is the same person that we just saw on the other surveillance video? Because if you do think it's a different person, then you need to have your head examined, right? We just showed you that all of these are, now this one's earlier in the evening, but by the way, or the day, I mean, not evening. And that's when he walked in there earlier. So that's when he's got his maroon shirt on, the backpack, and the hat. But look at this guy right here. I just showed you how he walks down the street and then turns the corner, and then he comes over here right after that, within 5 minutes. And then after that, you can see him right over here in this corner. Watch what he does. So he almost went down. Okay, and then he goes into the grass. So he kind of hesitated for a moment. I wonder if he had a moment that he was maybe going to change his mind. But let me show you where that goes. Thank you. Rockin' effing roll. Rockin' effing roll tonight. All right. So right there, when it took a right here, came across the grass, and then across this bridge here, and then into the parking lot here, then went into this tunnel. That's the exact spot that we were just showing you that he's coming down in this image right there. See that? And he's got the same shirt on. He's got the hat on. He's got the dark shirt, the jeans, and the right leg is straight down here because look at the way he's turned, you guys. He has to let his left leg down first each time. Watch. So what he would do is step down with his left leg. I mean, not left leg, his right leg. So he stepped down with his left leg, and then he would have his right leg straight and lower it to the next one and step down again. Notice how he's not perpendicular to the railing. He is sideways because he needs to sort of let himself down the stairs. You get it? I know, Summer Dog. We've already gone through all that. Ashley Fair. I'm debunking Candace Owens. Okay. I don't know what the hell's wrong with her, man. So here he is going down the stairs. That's him. That's the same person as this one right here. Now she goes, look, he doesn't have full lips. How can you tell? That's why they blurred it. God, how do you win with these people? They blurred it so you couldn't tell he had full lips. All right, anyways, this is a dark shirt, and he's got the jeans on and then a phone in the pocket. Then look at it. Here he is again. The same shirt, the same hat, the glasses. This is the nefarious image that Candace Owens says is not really Tyler Robinson, everybody. Notice he doesn't have full lips. Well, not to mention that half of his face is smudged off in a pixelation moment on a video. But we can't tell. That's what they wanted you to see, though, everybody. They made it look blurry so that you couldn't see it. Hey, thanks, CC. I would pay to see you debate her. Oh, well, she'd kill me. I mean, look, she's a professional debater. And the way she would say stuff, if she could do something on video and then I could do it on my video, that's how I would do it. But if we did a debate, she would just, conspiracy theorists can just sell anything they want over and over and over again, and they just don't care what you say back, and neither do the people that believe, oh yeah, she nailed it, man, and everything she said would be completely false, but that's okay. Thank you, Rockin' F and Roll, listen to Gray, and everything will be okay, listen to Candace, and turn your mind into madness. That's crazy. Thanks, CC, I would pay to see you today, even if on her channel. Yeah. I mean, I think I could do it. If I was able to present with my, the images and everything that I have, I would do it. If she just wanted to sit there and use words, it's hard to win those kind of things because it's like a lot of the stuff you have to see it, and then you go, oh, there you go. So look at, here is the next shot, right? Then we've got this one. And then we've got this one here. And it's the same person because these are literally moments after. This is the same set of stairs. See, look, that's the set of stairs. And then this is the same person. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you can see that or not. I don't know if this person is the same one that he walked by, but there might be like two people walking by and he has to kind of move over when they're coming down. I don't know. But that's the same set of stairs. And look at his shoes. He's got the Chuck Taylors on. And right there's the phone in his pants, right pant pocket. And then right here he is again, turning, going up this. So a minute ago he was right down there. And then around the stairs, he's going up now. And then that's the one later that she says is not him. Look how different he looks. Ooh, his shoulders are broad and everything. Ooh. Look at every camera angle is different. This main one makes him look squatty. If the camera angle was perpendicular to his body, for example, let's say the camera was out, he was standing over there, he'd probably look the same thin look. He's squished down. They did the same thing with Kanika Jenkins in videos. They would take her and squish her down. Oh my God, she gained 50 pounds. No, you made the video look crappy. Yeah, so I have these other images in here. So that's him, right? Look at that. Like, I mean, look at this. I mean, I think he even has the same hat on, even though it's a couple years later, and glasses, for God's sakes. Look at this. And this is 2 years before. Now, this is the one I really thought was interesting. Let me show you, because a minute ago we had that side view, two of them. This is Tyler Robinson. He got pulled over. That's what they want you to see. Now, Candace's next move will be to say that the traffic stop was bogus, that they invented a video and they uploaded it into the servers and they put the fake person in there. Here, watch this. I mean, just even that shot right there. I mean, let's just see. Doesn't that look, I mean, look at, I mean, got the same length sideburns on there, right there. Can you see that? That looks like the same person to me. I mean, I don't even know how you can argue with that. You look at that and you go, oh yeah, it is blurrier, sure. But look at it. How is that inconsistent with this person right here? It's crazy. Don't give her any idea. Yeah. All right. But look at this one though. Look. I thought this was awesome. This one and this one together. So let's go like that and then put this over here. I mean, I know it's a little bit more like a side shot, but look at that. That's him. He's got the same kind of sideburns there. The hair going in the back. His ears kind of stick out like that one. Hell, he might even be wearing the same hat there and glasses. Let's go back to the next image. That one's a little bit better even for that. See that? And that's looking down at his head, so his ear is going to look different, okay? But you can see it. The hair there and the hair there and the hat. I mean, I know he's not looking at the camera. We all get it. And then here's a picture when he was like a younger one too. So that's what he looks like, or looked like in more like a couple of years ago or something. See that? He's got the same glasses, the same everything. And then you compare that with some of these shots. I mean, look, all it is that see, it would be great if we had higher definition because he definitely has this little like pock mark or something right there that you could probably see if we had clear video of him, and you could definitely prove everything. But look at his ear is the same as that one. So these two are Tyler Robinson. Nobody did that, right? And then here he is again, another time wearing the same glasses, looks like a similar hat as some other images. And look at this. So he's got, look at in the image there. He's got the same Chuck Taylors on. But yeah, this is a fake person here. Come on, you guys. Is there anybody in here that believes what Candace Owens said today? That is not. And by the way, I missed that up there. Thank you so much up there to Rockin' Effin' Roll. Yes, Rockin' Effin' Roll just donated 10 channel memberships. Absolutely incredible, everybody. See you tonight. Play at the Bambino family's residence. whatever the hell that even means. Let's see. That's right. Well, she wanted to. She thought it was really interesting, that bush up there. She thought it was really like, man, that's really intriguing. I think it's him, the Dairy Queen picture, you know. I mean, he's got the same glasses, same hat, the way he wears a hat. He's got it. Look at, compare these two here. Look at this one and that one. That's the same person, right? Does everybody agree with that? That person is this person. Look at the eyes. He's got similar, everything's the same. This one is a very good comparison image. That's why I went through and found all of these images out there, because I want you to see that person is this person. I think I need to make a video on this. You know, like this needs to be like, I don't know. Right. So you see that and you see that. It's the same person. And we all know that this is Tyler Robinson because this is an image that was produced by, you know, family members or however it came from, right? So you got that one. And then here's another picture of him. And you can even tell that is this guy. I mean, look at this, right? This person is that person. And man, this is, by the way, he almost reminds me of, like, I wear my visor. This guy wears the same hat and glasses on his head in every single picture he takes, for God's sakes. on one of my pages, it is amazing how many people believe conspiracy theories. Because you'll buy anything. You'll buy anything? I know what that means, man. Oh, you're talking to somebody else. All right. So does anybody believe that the person walking up those stairs is not Tyler Robinson? I think we've just proven it. I mean, you don't even have to know the person to be able to do that. I mean, just take that one right there. And let's see. That one, let's go find that one that we had a minute ago. Like that. That one, or, I mean, that one's pretty good too. I mean, look at these. The gray, it's so small and it's so blurry. It's absolutely consistent with him, is what I'm saying. He's got the glasses that he wears, the same kind of hat, etc. So you have that one, you can definitely see it. And we just went through the whole thing, how, you know, he's walking out in the area, I guess, you know, and then, by the way, he drove his car around and he was walking around and law enforcement saw him and the car, right? So they were able to link the car and him. And I'm sure that his cell phone will be pinging in the area as well. That's what I'm saying. This case he has no chance in this case. And in fact, if I was him, I wouldn't pull the same stunt that Koberger did. I would go for, because this is worse than Koberger. This is a magnitude of like 10 times worse than Brian Koberger in terms of evidence against him, because they have him moving around at the crime scene on video, not just the DNA on the gun or knife sheath, right? This is literally moving around in the area on camera with his face, albeit, you know, has the glasses on, etc. Yeah. No, but here's the thing is Candace Owens will never get to the point where she goes, you know what, I actually think the thing that makes the most sense is the official story that's out there. And it's not really, see, I hate the word narrative and story or whatever you want to call it. I think it should be, it's just the facts that have been laid out, okay? The narratives that are out there are the YouTubers and people like Candace Owens. They're the ones that put out a narrative, okay? The other information, like, okay, here's a video. Is that narrative? That there's a video of a guy running on a roof? No. Is this narrative all these single still frames? No, it is not. These are every bit of this is a video. It's crazy. Candace thinks you need a ladder to get up. Does she really think that? God. Wow. Now, I can see, like, on the first day, I mean, we weren't sure, like, there was that ladder, but then I think I immediately went, well, it looks like the ladder was used to put the markers on the building. After I originally thought, there's a ladder there. Didn't really make a lot of sense. So how would he get the ladder there? Don't mind me, everybody. I've got this huge ladder that I'm putting up. They had that lady that was down there. And then I think right after that is when I realized, just using common sense, that the ladder was used to put the markers on the building. Didn't he get up there from inside? Yeah, I've explained this literally 100 times. Let me show you, because we got the Keeler videos. Let me show you guys these things. Yeah, Chuck Keeler. There goes my stomach. Is it this one? Oh, it's way over there. Okay, that's one of them. All right, so I'm going to pause this really quick. I'll show you where this is. All right, so keep in mind, everybody. So when you're on this channel, you'll know the case. If you want to be lost in oblivion of idiocy, talking about, oh, there's no way a bullet could have, you're going to be lost. Trust me. When it's all said and done, you're going to be angry for wasting your time. So right here, we've got, Tyler Robinson walked this direction. Then he went over here. Then he came right across the bridge here, went down this way into the tunnel, and then he went through the tunnel. And I have that actually here too. Oh yeah, let's see. I got it right here. This part's interesting. Maybe we should do it like that. Right, hold on a second. All right, this is when he's on the street, Keeler, when he walked. So this is where he's walking by in the surveillance footage. Right up here is the house with the basketball court, the second house. And then right after that, after this driveway, you take a right and you go down over that little bridge that I just showed you. You guys want to do this? I can just show it to you so you'll just know it. All right. I mean, the freaks that have been here, you guys have all seen it. But hey, if you guys are out there, please consider supporting the channel. We got to have these good nights going into the end of the month. Taking a right here, and then there's a bridge right over here to the right. That's not it. Right there. Okay. So then he goes over the bridge. And then we're just going to move it forward past the bridge. Now he's walking over into the parking lot, going around the corner, and that's the tunnel that he goes in. All right. And then this is right where he's standing in that image that you see of him. Right here. See that? He's going down the steps right there. So he's standing right there in that image. See, look at that. Boom, right here. Okay. And then right above is the camera. Watch when it pans around. There's the 360-degree camera, everybody. It's not really that confusing at this point. And then look, he walks down the hall here, or, tunnel. And there's a camera right at the end down here. I'll show you. You'll absolutely understand it all. Okay, right there. Boom. See right up in the corner here? Can you see that? That is another surveillance camera. And that's the one. Look at the coloring in here. See the sort of, I don't know, yellow hue or orange hue kind of mix there? Look at this. Can I get a boom? There it is right there. That image is right against this wall as he's walking in this direction from that camera. You see that? So just after he goes into the tunnel opening, there it is right there, right? Okay, then he goes around the corner here. All right, everybody just pay attention. You'll know it. You'll know it better than everybody else. At the end of the tunnel, he takes a right and goes up these stairs. Well, guess what? That stairway is the exact one that we see. So he's right here in this image right there. That's him. He's coming up these stairs. All right, so he's going up these stairs. And then look right there. There's the camera that filmed him going up the stairs. All right, then at the top of the stairs, look at that. Oh my God, everybody. That's exactly the same shots that we see in these images. Right there, look. Look at this. See that? Just a different angle camera shot there. Look, boom. And then he's going to go right from there. He's going to go around this and then up. See that? And we'll just keep playing it. So that's even a better angle right there to look at it. See, there it is. Right here. He's going up those stairs. Then he goes up these stairs. And at the top, turns left and then goes out right here. So now he's gone up from below where the tunnel was, out to here, and this is what we have right now. So just now, we saw him go through this tunnel, down the tunnel, and then we saw at the end, remember, he turned right, and then he went up some stairs that go up like, this isn't where it's underground, but it goes like this. Up, and then up again, but it was down a level, and that's where it came out right there. And then I think he walked down this way because it's hidden. You're not walking out in the middle of campus. He walks down like this, and then he cuts up right through here and makes his way to the LOSI building, which is right there. All right, now we don't have him on any surveillance doing that, but he does appear right there, and then he walks over there and enters the building at 12:02. God, you guys are lucky to have like a person like me. Gray, I don't like you, you bastard. Hey, thank you up there to Richard Brinton. Very kind of you. Thank you so much. And then also thank you to CC. I will sponsor you to go on her show. You would definitely get the smart ones to come. My God, I would hope so. But I don't know, when you say sponsor me, how would that work? All right, so you got that one, and she wouldn't want me on there. And by the way, all she would be doing is helping my channel, so she probably wouldn't want to do that. I was just goofing around, Lisa, but thank you. God, you guys are lucky. Anyways, I'm lucky to have all you guys that watch my show on a regular basis. So this is kind of the walk that he would have been taking. And actually, I don't think it's this route, though. I think it's this one right here instead. This one makes a hell of a lot more sense if you have a rifle in your pant leg. So not that one, it's this one right here. Let me show it to you. Here it is. Hey, thanks. I love Jesus. Look at that. Gray. Thank so very much for the notebook and freak goodies. That's right. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, some people actually, I sent 5 of them out. If you send 30 onto PayPal and, you say that you want the notebook, then I'll send the notebook. Just make sure the address that you have on PayPal is the same as where you live. You get the notebook. I'm out of the blue pens, but you get the notebook, stress ball, and poker chip. But this is how he would go right here. So imagine he's coming up here. He's just kind of making his way up here, and comes out right in the front of the LOSI building is right there. So from here, you could literally have seen him running across if you were standing there. I don't know if you can see in the reflection. There's a person back there. So see this? You come around the corner here, and see that corner of the building right there on the right? That's the corner he jumps down from. So look at how steep, by the way, this hill is that he goes up. After jumping down, he runs up this steep hill and goes over there. That's why the shadow direction changed. And all of that was in my video that I put out today that nobody watched. So I deleted it, and maybe I'll upload it tomorrow. I'll make a better thumbnail, though, because you got to put these really bogus sort of, everybody, I solved, let's see, perpetual motion. Oh, people watch. Okay, so where he's walking right now is right here. See this? See that? He just walked by that corner. Keeler's walking here. He's going to go in this door right there. I thought the door was there, but now that I look at it, there's gravel, and that's where the door was. So here he goes going around the corner. And this is where Tyler Robinson went in this door at 12:02. Right. You watched it, but I deleted it. So people go, hey, I'll watch it again. My God. You need thousands of views on those to have them make any, ad revenue or anything. That's really, you put them out there because they're good videos and you want to put out information, but they have to be worth, like you spend hours making them, and if nobody's watching them, it just seems pointless, So he went out this door eventually, and then look, these stairs right here. So if you're still here and you were wondering, these stairs right here lead to the roof. And now let me show you that. It's right here. These are those stairs. So right in that picture, he is right down there underneath here. I mean, hell, you can almost, it's such a good 3D model. I mean, not great, but like you can literally, sometimes you can slide underneath there, but those are the stairs. You go to the top, and it puts you out in this common area here. And he got up there at 12:15. And then at 12:15, he stepped over this wall and laid down. Okay. And he was still limping all the way to the wall. And then he steps over and he bends down in there. And that's at 12:17. And then at 12:22, he stands up and runs with no limp anymore. And that's because he assembled the rifle. As we know, they found a screwdriver on the roof. And then from here, he ran across over here because he can run now. And then he laid down sort of like probably over here, and he kind of shimmied his way over. And then he got to about right in this position. And as you can see, if you just creep forward, look at that right there. Right where the yellow pin is on the right is where Charlie Kirk was. And look at, boom. I mean, that's exactly where he was. He had a shot. And I'm the only YouTuber out here that has the exact positioning of the tent. Okay. That is where his tent was. And we know it. Watch this. Can you see that? I did an overlay of a shot straight down. Look how absolutely perfect that is. Every single element is absolutely lined up, absolutely perfectly. Look at the trap door, stays in the same spot when I blink it on and off. And so that is exactly where the tent was. So I can probably get the closest to where Charlie Kirk was actually sitting than anybody else out there. He's probably 8 to 10 feet from the wall here, and right in this place, right there, right in there. And you can see it. And it doesn't have 3 dimensions, but it does have the from above shot. And then after that shot right there, he gets up and he runs. And now at 12:23:34, we actually can see him running in this position right here. And let me show you. I think I've got it in this video right here. This one. This one's the original video from the FBI, where they actually put it on their website. So you can see, I don't know if you can see, can you see my yellow mouse pointer here? Hey, thanks so much. Barbara Hall. Can you guys see my mouse pointer? Right at the point of that is Tyler Robinson running on the roof. Can you see that? You can barely see it. You'd have to it's really small. And then I don't know if you can see just to the left, there's this little white sort of, let me just throw it into here. Why not? Let me just throw it right there. And then I'm just going to zoom in. We'll go all the way to the beginning, right? That's not the one I'm looking at, right here. All right, right there. That's the very first frame that the FBI put out. Look what time it is, 12:23:34. So from that, we probably have to assume that Charlie Kirk was shot at, I would guess, 12:23:20 at the latest. Because let me show you where he is. So I would think at 12:23:20-ish is the time that Charlie Kirk was shot. Not 12:23, but 12:23:20 or so. And then we're going to go to the roof now. Can you see this right here, this thing? See that? And then he's right there. So we're going to go to the roof, and we're going to look at that. And on the roof, that's this thing. That's right here. I mean, so he's probably just in that position there, and that's the little nodule thing that you see on the roof. Whatever you call that, probably some sort of a vent of some sort. So let's just measure the distance there from here to here. And it is there. It's just underground. It's, hold on, 46 feet. I mean, that is nothing. Let me do that again. Right there to here. Well, that one says 68 feet. So let me just do one more to verify that. From here, that's a 69. So that's really what it is. So that is, so let's say it's 6 Debbie, 20 yard, 22 yard, 23 yards, nothing. So I think in that 13 seconds, what do you guys think? I think the shot was 12:23:20. He didn't linger there. He shot, stood up, and ran. So I'm going to put, it might even be later than that, like 12:23:22 or something. That's what I'll put right there, right? So, because right here it's 12:23:34, and all that is 20 yards. So he stood up and started running over to here, and that's when we pick him up in the video, way back there. I have to zoom in though, but this is what the full video looks like. So when people are so harsh on the, oh my God, everybody, it's so, you can't make out the shadow, you can't see this, you can't see that. It's ridiculous. Look at this. Tyler Robinson is probably 15 pixels right there. Okay, that's it. I mean, like 1, 2, 3. If I had another program, I could actually zoom in and count the pixels. There's very few of them there. Because look at the full size of the video, and then we're going to zoom in over here on this. So if I go forward, frame by frame, I've been doing this stuff for so long, you guys. I've seen every trick in the book by the conspiracy nutters. Can you just block that person, you guys? I'm not sure why we, they only get a couple shots in there. You just delete them. They're a spammer. Hey, thanks. Rockin' effing roll. If you say there's something sus about this case, you probably have a bias towards government authority, and it's more of your problem. Right, right. And I can't stand the word sus. It's just, I'm thinking of adding it as a banned word in here. What do you guys think? Come up with something else. Sus is almost code for I'm a conspiracy nutter. You know, that's sus. Okay. All right. So look at that. Let's see. Is there a way to? I wonder if there's a way to. I wish we could see, but just so you know, the corner of the building is right over here. I don't think it's over there. I think it's right there. Like there's the edge. So he was shooting from right there, and he got up and he ran over to here, and then he runs all the way over to this corner. And let me show you. I'm just gonna frame by frame forward. Now it's kind of, they start panning out or zooming in, so it makes it kind of weird, but you can still see him right there. See? He's right there. And in some of those frames, you can see a shadow. And then you say, well, I can't see him in all of them. Well, it's just the way it is sometimes. The light values and different things. It just is how it is with when you have video and it's so small, it just didn't have enough information. Yeah, so that one you can start seeing a shadow right there. I saw it. Watch. Go back one. See, now there's a shadow there, and then now you can see the shadow because he's getting closer, right? Because what we're looking at on the top, this is what he's doing. He's running from way back here, and he's literally going like this. See, he's not going like that across. He's going at an angle all the way over here, and that's what we're seeing in this video here. So in a minute, you'll see him behind the glass, but I just showed you the angle he's literally running from. It's a sharp angle. So there it is, ding, 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 ding. But he's not right behind the building. Okay, he is running like this from here, straight line like that, and then over to here. And there he comes out right there. And then watch what happens here, everybody. There's no shadow on here, but look what changes on him too. Why is it moving like that? Oh wait, look at that. Okay, turn that off. That's right, I was connected to the motion thing. All right, but see, look at him right here. Look how he's changed. And when he's over on the gray part of the roof, he's way more solid looking. See that? See how he's like, you can make out the thickness of the legs, etc. But as soon as he gets onto the white part of the roof, the image gets blown out and is overexposed just in that portion of the surveillance footage. Now look what it does to him. Look at his legs get really skinny. It starts removing pixels because it's blown out in the entire image. And then coming over here, now you can see a little bit of a shadow one time because there are shadows there in real life. And there might be some information where there's still some shadow information, and it's right there. Now this part in the corner is not him putting an object down. This right there is the shadow from what he's holding, because watch how it, the timing as it spins, it's the same thing. See that? So it's just a shadow on the corner there, and he's turning. And to give you a comparison, this is in the video that I put out. Let's see, that was in today's. Oh yeah, right here. So here's a picture of a person that has a white background and the image is blown out. You see what it did to them? I mean, I don't know if this was originally just a larger, like a doll or something they used, but look what it does to it. You're almost completely missing the solid images of the arms, etc. I guess we're getting spammed in here tonight, you guys. Just catch them right away, just immediately. Yeah, so you got that, and then look at this. Here's another way to look at it. See how this image right here has, all the relief in there you can see because there's miniature shadows against all of those. But then all of a sudden it gets blown out right here, and now you can't see a lot of the shadows that would be in this area had it not been blown out. And then this one similarly, see that right over here in this portion? Can't even make out any detail at all. And that's what you're getting on the roof over here. This is a really common thing that happens in videography, all right? It literally happens all the time. You guys have done it yourselves. When you're taking a photo with somebody with a white t-shirt on and it just blows out the image of them and their shirt and even the logos that are on the shirt, you can't even see them half the time because it's just, but the other person next to them wearing the blue shirt, it looks fine, right? Yeah, and the sun is what made that like really bright there. It made a big difference. If it was an overcast day, you probably would have been able to see the shadow better. But the sun really, with the reflective values likely in the white area there, completely blew out the image in that portion of it. All right, so does anybody disagree with that? Anybody disagree with that explanation right there? Hey, thanks, Dina Caddy. Keep up the great work. Thank you for being factual, sane person out of the crazies. Yeah, there's only a couple. The thing is, I'm not even going to entertain the conspiracy stuff. As soon as I hear it, I know it's not true because everything's been put together in an order that makes sense already. And then the other thing I was trying to show people was, look at this. Remember a minute ago how I showed you how steep that hill is right there? Well, a good way to look at it, look at the angle of the pole here. See that? See how that goes up the hill? And then when the guy's on the ground, watch this. So he's on the ground. Now look at his angle. See the angle of his shadow goes straight out, and then you go, ooh, it's a different time because look, the shadow of the light pole goes up steeper. Look. All right, let me show you what's happening there. See right over here? I don't know if can you guys see this? I mean, it's pretty far away, but let's just pretend that that's the light pole. And watch this. So in this program here, I'm going to grab right over here. I'm going to make it like a hill. See how it goes up like that? We'll just make that a hill in there. And then we'll select that same pole. Now watch what happens. Oh, right there. You see that? See how right there it goes up at an angle and it's not straight out now? See how I can here's the thing. When you're actually using factual information, it's so easy. Every time a conspiracy theory comes out, the reason it's easy to debunk is because they're not true. All right. So it's easy to go, oh, look at this. So you see how that right there literally shows you the angle goes up when it goes up a hill. So even that part, if you hear some nut job saying, oh, how come the angle's different? Well, there you go. That's the answer to that part. And that's why that's up at an angle, because that's a hill that goes up there. And so that's another way to look at this. When he's going up here, he's going up a really steep hill right there. This whole thing is really steep. And then now he's coming off the other side and he's running off. And, one of the things that's sort of interesting, if you go back to this right here, is it's 12:23:34 when he's, or 44 when he's right over there. And then I've actually done it. He's getting off the roof right at 12:24 flat. All right. So right there was 12:24:50 or 12:23:50. And then he gets over there and he gets off the roof right at 12:24 is when he's jumping down. Hey, thanks, K-Me. And Miss. I was thinking of Christmas. Moxis. Mo X. I genuinely want your insight into why they start this rooftop footage when they do, as opposed hold on, I gotta read that again. As opposed to the shot, let me put it on the screen. I generally want your insight into why they start this rooftop footage when they do, as opposed to the shot, because all they were proving in the probable cause document was the gun portion of it. Because that was going to be in the probable cause. So all they gave us was what they put in the probable cause, although they described, I guess they did describe what else they saw. So it would have been nice if we'd seen that on video. But the probable cause document literally described all the other stuff. And then it showed us the second half of it, because it was really, they put this video out to show us that it appeared that he had a black pal in his hands. It kind of showed what he was wearing, and it was wrapped around a elongated item at the time, right? And we know it's a rifle because they actually found the black pal wrapped around a rifle in the woods right outside there. Hey, thanks so much, Carrie Summers and Michelle Estepinal. Michelle Estepinal. Man, you guys are giving me some tough names tonight, man. Give me some tough names. Hey, good night, Sandy. Hope you feel better. Is that a good enough answer? So when opposed to the shot, or he's packing his rifle away. He didn't pack his rifle away. That's the thing. So what happened here is he had the rifle in his pants, right? And then he comes up these stairs right here. I mean, I can try to like almost imitate what he did. Watch, he went like this. Kind of went around like this. And he hung out here for 2 minutes. Then he climbs over this wall here, crouches down. He puts the gun together. And then he runs at 12:22. He starts running over here like this. And he kind of crouches down and crawls over into position like that. Makes his way up here, and then he fired. And then from here, he turns around and he runs. Gotta get a little higher here. And he runs this direction. Off over here. We see it on video. And then he climbs down, jumps down right there. Then he runs up over this hill over here. Then down right over here. And then across to here. Then goes across the street. And then this is where the photographers were looking into the woods right here. So maybe he entered the woods right in this area. And then inside the woods there, he left the rifle with the black towel and changed clothes. And then he walked out of the area, and he was going to go back later to collect it, but he was never able to do that. How about that? And the reason they don't always give us everything that they've got. It would have stopped some, here's the thing, it wouldn't matter, like Candace Owens would still come up with some conspiracy, and so would all the conspiracy people, regardless of him being seen. We know it exists. It's 100%, right? Like, let me just, I guess I have to do that part again. Let me get it. It's right here. I guess I have to go this backwards though. Let's see, view, or sort by name. There it is. Next one here. This one. Let's see. Well, he would have to stand up or maneuver the rifle to cover it with the towel. Right when he stood up, right. I would think that footage would be much easier to identify a rifle. Well, no, I don't think so. Let me tell you why. Is because it's so far away at that point. Here, let me just show you. See this image right here? Moxis. How do you say that name, by the way? I don't know how to say it. Treasure X, you're correct, assuming videos are unedited. Yeah, well, they're not edited, okay? I mean, listen, it's just, I know that people think that law enforcement edits videos and surveillance. They just don't, okay? Never seen it once in my entire life where law enforcement edited, like put something in a video. They have edited where they've taken, like they'll edit stuff out to get to the point where you want to watch it, but they just don't do that. Gray, you're so naive. Well, give me an example where law enforcement took a surveillance footage and edited it to put something in it. But let me just show you really quick. See how small this is right here? Mo, see that? It's even smaller when he's back in this corner. So all you're going to see is the camera would be pan, because you can look 360 degrees. You'll see a guy running across over here, move over a little bit, lay down, then you'll see them stand up, and you might be able to make out something, but you can make out better over here because he's closer. So when he finally makes his way over to this section, he's much closer to the camera, and this is where you can make out stuff. Watch this, Mo. Watch this one right here. So as he turns, watch this shot right here. So the gun is on the roof right now. Watch this. Boom! That right there is the rifle. See that? I would almost argue that that's possibly the barrel there, or the barrel, not the barrel, the stock. So look at, see how it's swinging? So he reaches and grabs it, and it swings over. You can see it, crystal clear. I mean, not crystal clear. I don't want to make something up. It's an elongated object that he's taking off the roof. Hey, thanks, Carrie Summers. And then look at this. Moves it down. You can see it. Look at the long object there. This whole thing right here. He's holding it in his hand, wrapped in a towel. And then right here, he jumps off the roof. And when he hits the ground, his hat does not come off his head. You can see it's still on his head. His glasses fell off, so he reaches down and grabs his glasses, as was somebody said in the chat a long time ago. As a matter of fact, you can see, look at right there. There's the bill of the hat right there. He's moving. And then he tries to put the glasses on his head. That's the one that starts over again. It does it 3 times. And so now we'll go to the final one here. So look at his left hand. See that? See, his left arm is up by his head. He's trying to put those glasses on. A hat's easy to put on. Glasses not easy if one of the sides break down. Thank you, Carrie Summers. Thanks, you guys. Man. All right, so here we go. And look at this whole time he's moving. He's got a towel and that's the rifle, you guys. I mean, he is absolutely covering it up with that black towel, and he's trying to get through. And look at, like, right there. See, he's holding it now almost like you would hold a rifle, running with it on the side. And there's the towel hanging off the end of it right there. He's running. And he's still running. It's almost like he's trying to really, like, come on, He's holding it. I think he's almost got it right next to his leg. Look at that. He's almost trying to, like, move it with his leg. That's crazy. I didn't really think of that till just now. See that? That's the rifle right there. And it's almost like he's intentionally swinging it with the movement of his leg in this timing. See that? Because he's not in his pants, but he knows that's the look he's got to get. So look at this. He's moving. Look at this. That's crazy. Look at that. Oh, he swings it right with his left leg. And then he swings it right again with his left leg. That's crazy. Man, I didn't even see that before. And he's still doing it right there. Boom. And he's still doing it. And then it gets separated here in a second. Watch. Right? See that? There's 3 things here. That's actually his leg. That's another leg. And there's the rifle right there. You see that? I know. I don't think we really have 5,000 people. This always happens sometimes. Some random weird numbers pop up. I don't believe it. And there he goes. Oops. All right. I'm still on the roof. I gotta go back to where I was. Right there. Yeah, that's crazy. Look, he's trying to move it at the same pace. And then, believe it or not, that's his leg, that really skinny thing right there. Originally, I thought that was the rifle, but it's not. I mean, it's amazing what just every once in a while, the way the codec and how it's being processed just doesn't catch the stuff correctly. It's a glitch, Gray. It has to be fake. Okay, then what about the cars? They do the same thing. I hate the way they zoomed it around. Just give us the footage. Oh, that's interesting. So maybe we can see exactly those rocks right there. That's where he came out. And so it looks like maybe, is it right, those ones? Here. I go right where the camera is. right there. And there's that light pole. I don't know, it could be like these ones, right? These three here. I see these ones too, but let's pan it back a little bit while it was turning. Okay, so you can see those other rocks over there too. Come on, let go of this. All right, yeah. So there's ones over there, and now he's passing, and he went right between those, didn't he? Let's do that again. This is what I would love to do if this was my job, video analysis. Oh my god, I would just be. But I think he goes behind that one. Yeah, look at that. That was cool. So he went between that rock and that one right there. So, and it's the second set of so it's this one right here. I think I almost had it right accidentally. I mean, it went right between there, I think. Yeah. So I think 1, 2, 3 are 1, 2, 3, and he walks right between that rock. So I'm gonna just put where he was standing here. All right, and then he just makes his way to right there. I mean, see, the thing is, the camera has that whole shot, so they can see him move from here to the wooded area. Then they go into the woods and they find the rifle with the black towel wrapped around it. And then he changes his clothes, leaves it in there. You know, he left it in there, and he makes his way over here. And he was running over here. Then I think he went back up this direction, and he made it to his car that I think was parked somewhere in this square right here. Somewhere in that square, his car was parked. And that makes sense even with this information at 8:23. He's driving like this. And where was he going? He went on the campus at 8:30. But is that sort of where he was parking later? Because later he walks this way. So he came from a car that was parked over here, and then he made his way around like this. And then later you see him coming down with, ready to kill, walking in this direction, coming from up here somewhere. So after the homicide, he must be coming up like this, going that direction. He went through the wooded area here, but then he sprints over here. And the reason is because at the end of the street, this is a fence. He couldn't go down that street. So he went down this street. And then I think he obviously then went north wearing shorts, etc., making his way in his maroon shirt to a vehicle that was parked up here. And he drove away for a while and came back. It could have been one piece or taken. I think it was taken apart though. I don't think it was. I think there was two parts. I think that's why he had the screwdriver, and he put it together. I think he had broke into two 30-something inch pieces. All right, cool. All right, anybody have any questions or anything? If you're late here, I mean, I don't think we have 6,400. If we did, we'd have like 12,000 views already. But what we were talking about earlier is Candace Owens is absolutely ludicrous statements that she seems to make on a daily basis. And guess what? We're all talking about her. Oh, let me go check out Candace Owens. So it all just works in her favor. Yeah, it's not a real number. You know how that works. We did have like 700 or 800 though. That's pretty good for me. Tyler had to have rehearsed this. Yeah. Well, I think that day. So, remember the video I put out, was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. The one that had the 8:06 time frame that Candace Owens was putting out there along with some news outlets. The 8:06 time frame of the first video in the morning when he's walking by wearing the maroon shirt. Well, that was actually more like 10:08 or so, maybe even 10:06. He was right here at 9:58, and then he walked all the way around like this, and then he's walking by right here at 10:08. So that affects the timeline in terms of what was going on before. I think at 8:30 in the morning, he walked around, looked at everything, just to kind of refresh himself, because I think he was probably there another time, and he was looking around, and then at around 10 o'clock, he heads in and does basically a dry run. He right at like 10:10, he's walking by right here, goes into the tunnel. I think he's going to absolutely be on there doing the same thing, walks around over here. They'll show him walking in front of the building here at 10:20, and then entering right there. And I don't know if he goes up all the way, but maybe he does. Maybe he even walks over to here. Then he goes down. He just wanted to see how easy it would be to do. And then he makes his way back to his car. He's back to his car by 10:50-ish. And then in that time frame there, he gets dressed in his garb. What's funny, Miss Parker? Anyways, hey, thanks, Grant. Candace Owens is greater than Sherlock Holmes. She said so many times. Oh, I see. That's probably what the haha was. You got a shout out from another live stream as they were ending. Probably where which one was that? I don't know. I just don't think I don't legitimately. There's 8,347. My total views is 8,464. So that's impossible. It's actually, there was more than 100 people watching prior to that. I did too. I used to think Candace Owens was great. I used to tell people about her. Like, oh my God, have you seen Candace Owens? I especially like when she did the Blexit stuff, where she was really communicating to other black people saying, hey, you're being, absolutely used by the Democratic Party and sold a bill of goods. And, she had made great points and arguments the whole time. And she was just this great little, up and coming star. Oh yeah. What was the shout out? What did he say? I like Paramount Tactical. I wish he was doing, we were the two doing shows together. I mean, because I think, like I'm pretty good at mapping stuff out and logically thinking through stuff. Yeah. I'd throw him compliments too. Yeah, anyways, Candace Owens used to be amazing. But she's turned into Alex Jones. Okay. That's what she's turned into. Just call her Candace Jones from now on. I don't know how it would go. I mean, she would, she's a way better debater than I am. If I was allowed to, mute her mic, like how you do it, and then show my angle, and then she can respond to it. That's how it would work. All right. She'll just claim, here's what's going to happen. It's all going to turn out exactly the way the reality is. And at the end, she'll say, well, I can't help that my sources lied to me. Okay. That's how it's going to happen. He is a good dude. I talked to him on the phone multiple times, just on the side, Paramount Tactical. Let's see. We can like both. Nah. I think it's embarrassing if you like Candace Owens and you agree with what she's saying. I don't really want you around here. It's kind of embarrassing. It's like a scary, it's shameful. All right. She's just kind of turned into, no. I mean, you can be here and whatever, but I just, I'm not really, I'm not like, I think it's ridiculous that you believe in any of the stuff that she's saying out there. How many different theories can you have in a week? As soon as the conspiracy theorists change their theory, and it's still another theory that it's not really Tyler Robinson, you have to start questioning them. How come they just keep having more theories, but it's never Tyler Robinson it's obvious. Isn't that weird? You think one day they would go, you know what? I've been looking at all this stuff and I actually think it is Tyler Robinson. And here's why. Look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. Instead, now she's saying that it's not even him. Okay, it's ludicrous. Let's do the image thing again that we did earlier. If you didn't see that part, just look at this. All right, I'm just going to show you some of these images here. We've already gone through all of these. We showed that when he was walking on the surveillance footage, he had the same white logo, the hat, everything is the same. This is the person in the surveillance footage. Then you got images like this. So when you look at an image like that, and then you look at an image like this one, you can definitely tell that that's the same person. I mean, I don't know about you, but if I saw that one and this one, I'd say, yeah, it looks like that's the same person. I wouldn't think, oh my God, they look totally different. Look at the neck's the same, the glasses, the hat, just the general look is the same, right? Even though that's pretty blurry, that one, but that is him. And this is the same person before that. The sun is just hitting him, so everything looks brighter. But this is like literally 50 feet from that last image, just before going into the tunnel that this one is shot from right here. That's in the tunnel. We went through the whole thing a minute ago. Then after he goes through the tunnel, he goes up these stairs right here. Well, guess what? That's the same person, because we already established that this person and the last one's the same. And so this person here, after he turns the corner, is the same person. Look at that. He's even got the phone inside the pants, just like that. And then you have this one here. Isn't that interesting? So you see him, the side of his head. Look at that look right there. Boom, boom. Very similar. Especially if you take a look at this one. I think it's the one right before that. Not that one. This one, this one. So look at that. See that? The little sideburn. Boom. His ears stick out a little bit like that.
I did step out for a bit because I made my dogs a nice, delicious, healthy breakfast. So I think there's a lot of evidence that's being withheld now so that there's no poisoning of the jury pool or impacting the jury pool, and having it where it's there's an absolute bias even before looking at all the evidence. There's a lot of evidence that has been shared, and a lot of people, just like he has unpacked, that does corroborate the events of that day and the following day. And so that's my interpretation of that. I could be wrong.
That's definitely him, you guys. There's no doubt that that's him at all. And then this one here, you go, well, how do we know that's him there? I mean, the other guy looked like the other guy, and the other one okay, well, look, that's him, right? I mean, can you tell? That's Tyler Robinson, and so is this guy. Why'd you say this guy? I don't know. Then look at this one here. I mean, that's the same person, right? That's Tyler Robinson, and this is Tyler Robinson. Apparently at Dairy Queen in Orem. All right, but you look at that image there, and you could even, if you take a look at these images here, stuff like that, this image is one Candace wants you to really look at. Look at his lips look different. Well, his whole face is missing because that's what you get in pixelation. Have you guys ever watched a show on TV and somebody's, it's a remote camera and they're talking, and all of a sudden there's this warped look of the pixels on their face people actually take that stuff and pretend it's like there's something going on instead of just saying, well, that's just technology. That's how it works. You get this all the time here. And then this one right here, I think this is what I wanted people to look at. Look at that. You can't tell that. I mean, Tyler Robinson and this guy, even though he has a mask on, that's exactly what that face looks like. So that's him. And look at every one of the shots. He's got the same damn hats on and everything. I mean, it's crazy. And here's this one again. He's got the glasses on. Look at the glasses on his hat right there. I mean, obviously, you might say, okay, those are both, I get that, but they're not the same guy in the video. But it is the same guy in the video. Look at that. I mean, that's the same guy, everybody. There is no doubt about it. Candace Owens is, all right. She has lost her marbles. And that's my opinion. Okay. Nope. It isn't great because he doesn't have his head turned up. Great. How about this one right here? Look at that one right there, and this one right here. Huh? You don't think that looks like the same person in those images right there? You don't see that? Boom, boom, boom. Yep, and so we got this one here. Yep. I don't know. I can't convince foolish people, or naive people. It's very difficult. I mean, I could sit here all day and show you these things, and for me, it's really obvious. His parents even said, "Oh, that's our kid," and then they tried to get him to send a picture of the rifle. He wouldn't do it. He wouldn't produce it, and later, and it turns out when the gun had his DNA on the trigger, on the screwdriver, on the blanket, and over the stock of the gun. All right. Come on, you guys. Any other questions out there? But Gray, it couldn't have been a 30-06, you bastard. It would have created an exit wound. We've already gone over this 1,000 times, you guys. Here's the thing is, I know that the experience of the shooters, and they're, when they're shooting targets, etc., and shooting at gels and different things, it blasts out. Okay? But the truth is it's not, let me just load this up. What did we have yesterday? And we don't know what type of bullet he was.
We don't have any images of him firing the shot. I think that's being withheld. I don't know why. I would love to see that footage because it paints things, it paints the picture. But I think there's evidence being withheld, especially if it's irrefutable evidence, because of the jury that will be selected. Seeing that could, again, it could taint their opinion before providing him a fair trial. And there are photos of him on the roof. There's videos of him on the roof. There's of him entering and exiting, walking to and from the location, from different locations. And afterwards, there's just so much, even with like the bullets, the indents in the ground on the rooftop, like he was showing you just like the angle and elevation and just how it would be a clear shot from that location. And so there's just a lot of compelling evidence that would suggest it was in fact him. But
we don't know what.
We still don't have the autopsy report. But again, I don't think it's going to be something that's released before court. We will get a lot more information in the following months.
If the gun's barrel was old and outdated, and what kind of effect that had to do with the bullet exiting the rifle. It's just crazy how people just think that there's no other answers for anything.
There's also footage from that guy that was with another individual, about approximately 160 yards away from the rooftop, recording what appears to be Tyler on the rooftop. Again, it's hard to see from that distance who it is. It's basically just a dark silhouette at that point. And taken moments before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. There's the you hear the gunshot. There's just a lot of information provided that makes sense from the location that he was at.
Nice.
Not a mic, not a rear headshot.
What was that last one? Is it this one? Okay. I think it was in this chat GPT here. Do you think Turning Point will disavow Candace? I think they should. But then she'll call that a conspiracy of the people that were trying to cover up what really is going on there with the financials.
Yeah. I don't know why she's grifting like
Oh, yeah.
this.
So I said, some conspiracy theorists think because there's no exit wound on the back of Charlie Kirk's neck, it has to be because some other way, because they claim that a bullet fired from a 30-06 rifle 100% has to go through the neck and that there is no other logical explanation. And then ChatGPT responded with, that's a myth. A 30-06 at that distance will always create an exit wound. Reality, nope, not even close to always. High velocity rifle rounds usually do exit, but whether they do depends on angle, tissue type, yaw fragmentation, and what they hit internally. The human neck has dense structures, vertebrae, carotid arteries, airway, and is a narrow space. If a bullet strikes bone or yaws sideways, it can dump all its energy and stay in the body. Examples: JFK autopsy, 6.5 millimeter Carsano round, high velocity, small entry wound at the back, exit at the throat. In other cases, with the same ammo rounds, stopped in soft tissue or shattered on bone. Hunting incidents, plenty of documented cases of 30-06 and 308 rounds staying in a torso or neck when they hit heavy bone. You see that? See, it's not like everybody go, oh, it's 100% every single time you got to, and it's just weird, you know? I mean, we don't know what the ballistics are going to say. If the bullet was yawing and sort of starting to rotate, I think given the short distance, and even if it was going 1,700 feet per second or something, would still exert a ton of energy on the neck. And even if it was a little off target, it could still hit the area, penetrate the neck, but most of the energy would be dispersed on the like a larger surface area. And that's what you see, that big shock wave that he got. But the bullet doesn't exit. And I think that's what we're going to find out, is something like that. You know, it could be also, if there is, we still don't have the answer, but Paramount Tactical, he kind of goes back and forth on the breastplate thing, and we still don't have the answer. Was he wearing a freaking breastplate or not? You would think somebody, I mean, we should have the answer because the sheriff said he wasn't wearing one, and so did Erica. Okay, so that should be the answer, that he wasn't wearing one, but we still haven't heard like from an official to tell us that. Mm-hmm. I don't know what you're talking about, man. I'm not going to read whatever the hell you want me to read. I have no idea what you're talking about. They just delegate chunk of lead lead wrapped in soft jacket. Yeah, I mean, what if it's a soft point bullet, or what if it wasn't as powerful as other bullets, or was the wrong type of ammunition because he just kind of grabbed one and maybe doesn't fit the rifle he was using that required more rotational velocity, and his didn't, that bullet wasn't designed for his particular weapon. Now I know he pointed at that. I don't agree that was a bullet hole though. I don't agree with that. I saw that other video. Nobody proved anything. All right, but what do you think? Did I make a pretty good case here tonight, you guys? I mean, I feel like I don't know if I can do any better. I just have no way to think that I could do any better. It's like I think the images are him. I think it's 100% him. I mean, I don't even just think. I know that is Tyler Robinson, and he is the shooter, and there is no doubt about it. Now, here's the thing, everybody. Is it possible that there was somebody in the crowd that texted him or something? I guess, but we'll find that out at trial or somewhere else, and there might be another arrest made. But so far, there hasn't been any other arrest made in connection, right? Have you noticed that? And could it be people on Discord servers egging him on, encouraging him, and they knew it was going to happen and said something? I think that's a possibility too. But there is absolutely zero chance that there was another shooter on the roof that did this. It is Tyler Robinson. He is the shooter. And I just want, this is a place where you can go and know that. Okay? I mean, you get to actually okay, good, finally, because it is the truth. All right? I know it's not sexy. It's not as fun and cool and interesting, but I think it's disgusting how many people keep making videos on that. I'm making videos out here trying to, it's not even just trying to, I can just shred the shit out of these theories because they're not true. And that's what, in every case that I do the debunking videos.
And as you've seen in my videos, I've done the same thing.
It's easy to do because it's not true what they're saying. So having that as knowledge, you just go, okay, well, then here it is. On assault. I am a hunter and veteran infantry officer who has come to the same conclusions. Great videos. I've been arguing with my peers about it. Right. See, that's so cool of you, Don. That is so cool. Yeah. See, that's the thing is, I think what we see a lot of are, that are just these people just showing up out of the woodwork that are ex-military or.
See, I love this. It was a good shout out. And yeah, so anyways, this is my input.
They worked in special forces or something. And all of a sudden we're supposed to all put aside logic and reason and believe all of their theories because of that. Right. But I just think that I bet you Don could tell you that there's probably some range when she's firing on ranges. I bet there's sometimes where the bullet yaws or does something differently or something, you know. And every time somebody's shot with a bullet, it doesn't do exactly what you think it's supposed to do. There was only one bullet here that was shot, and you know, maybe if he shot two more, one of them or the other two would have gone out the neck. You know, he didn't do that though. He shot one with an old rifle, and we don't even know what kind of ammunition he had. And guess what, you guys? People are expecting to get the same amount of information in this case as we did in the assassination attempt of Donald Trump. I forgot the guy's name. I was trying to. What was his name? Crooks, right? He died. He got taken out. Those guys nailed him. I mean, I have the best videos of that. You just wouldn't believe it. But he got absolutely taken out, and that's why they were able to give out information. Like, oh, look at this. Here's a PowerPoint presentation, moving around. Tyler Robinson's alive, and he's been arrested and charged. So now it's like any other case out there. Have you ever noticed that you don't really, you don't get, you know, like for example, in the Idaho 4 case with Koberger, we got very little stuff. The probable cause document was all we had for years until some of the pre-trial motions and things were being filed and then made public. We were able to get some more new information. But that's exactly what's going to happen here. Okay, that's exactly what's going to happen here. Is now in this preliminary hearing that's happening on October 30th. That's a big deal because in that hearing, they will probably present information that was not in the probable cause document. And I think that preliminary hearing is going to kind of direct the direction of, you know, any sort of pleadings that Tyler Robinson might do. I'm not sure I don't know. I mean, it's hard to know, you know, like, does the state just, they're going to go, well, we're going for the death penalty no matter what? Or would they cut a deal? The death penalty is a great negotiation tool as well. So you could say, okay, we're going to give you life without parole, and that's it. Yeah, that's what Candace tells you, 406 Crusader. And who knows if he is? He doesn't look like he is even in those videos. But maybe they didn't want him to take his own life. But listen, anything Candace Owens says, take with a bucket of salt. Not a grain, a bucket, because the direction she's going is ultimately going to fail. And guess what? You guys will still all watch and think she's just lovely. She is absolutely beautiful. Got to give her credit for that. And smart, very smart person, but something has happened to her rational thinking. Okay. And that's just true. That's all I can tell you. Yeah. So don't, you know, whenever she says something, just go, yeah, I'll have to see that from a credible source because she's not one. All right. I think she's pretty, you know. I don't think so. Hey, lucky bass turd. By the way, I caught a 2.6 pound bass the other day and on the scale and I put it in the water and it pulled the scale out of my hand and took off. Can you believe that? I've never had that happen in my life. It just darted under the water and it went, woo. But she's been like this for 2 years plus. So it wasn't the grieving. You guys have been watching her, right? This Epstein shit, not the Epstein, the Weinstein, Harvey Weinstein love fest. I mean, she loves Harvey Weinstein. Oh, this guy's great. Really? Give me a break. Yeah. Yeah. So there's a bass swimming around in a lake with a scale attached to its lip. It just sucked. No, she's been doing it for a long time. Remember how she's been doing the Harvey Weinstein stuff? And then she was doing, I don't think anybody likes Kamala Harris, even Democrats that are in here. I don't think any of you like her at all. And if you do, you probably have to get your head examined as well. But she, you know, she was doing this stuff about looking into her, like genealogy records and things. And, oh, like this person knows this person. It's just kind of creepy. Like, who cares about any of that? It's not going to have any effect on anything. She is. Now, you know what she's trying to say? What she's trying to infer, you guys, on her shows is what I'm about to tell you. And see, right now, we're at the number where we would probably be. You see how it just shot off of a cliff like that? It's crazy, the way it looks on here. It just goes, a parabolic shift. Haven't watched her till recently. Oh, yeah, what she's trying to say is that Twigs is actually the guy here. Okay, like this is Twigs here. It's not really Tyler Robinson. That's what she's trying to imply. And because, oh, I've heard that Twigs he's really mean, and Tyler Robinson's really smart. In fact, he got really good grades and everything. So why would he do such stupid things by sending a text message to Twigs telling him everything? Well, listen, don't you understand? I mean, Tyler Robinson was out there all on his own. He probably thought he was doing something really noble for Twigs, taking out Charlie Kirk because of his stance on the trans world. You know, so he kills Charlie Kirk, and then he's out there, and I think if he was able to get that gun right away, let's say he went to get that rifle and he was able to grab it right away, that whole text messages situation never would have happened. What he did was he was getting scared and he felt alone because for hours he was sitting around waiting to get that gun, and there was law enforcement around there, and he knew he couldn't get it. In fact, he was probably wondering if they're actually waiting to see who might show up to go retrieve it. And eventually he was just going, I'm not going to be able to get it. So he started reaching out, saying, hey, this is what's going to happen. Because now he knows that they're going to probably link the gun to him, whether DNA or something. So he's starting to reach out. Hey, I just wanted to say, and then he works through it, trying to get them on board to help out. Yeah, hey, maybe you should go in and try to, and it just, that's how it was going for him. I think to me, it seems like a normal reaction and a conversation, and that he might have. And apparently, he's even told him to delete the messages. I don't know. I'm not one of the people that think that's a fake text message exchange. I know a lot of people still think that, but I don't. It would be the most idiotic text message exchange in the world that he would actually. I mean, there's no reason to do what he did if it was a planned text message exchange. There's no reason for it at all. And law enforcement knows that because they have the timing of those text messages. I bet you a lot of those text messages are from like 4, I would imagine even from like 3:30 till 7:30 at night.
Yeah. And he does make good points, and there are no timestamps either.
Yeah, well, that can probably cause that.
There might be now, but
Broken Thunder. I blame the schools for a lot of this. They sort of indoctrinate people into believing certain things. I think the education system in the United States has been a disaster for the United States in the last, I'd say, 20, 30 years. Just an absolute horrendous. Now, you might be a teacher out there. I'm sorry, but you might even can see that. Hopefully, you're one of the good ones. But it is a nightmare. They are the reason for so much of this. I mean, we're so bad in the world in terms of like we're like 25th or some ridiculous number for the greatest country on the planet, and we're absolutely letting our kids down. I thought it was a great idea to bring back in physical fitness again in school. We used to all have that. You start get rid of the trophies for everyone. Start teaching kids the basics again, and like George Bush's "Nobody Left Behind," but really make that a thing that is real. Okay, make it a real thing, because without having some sort of an education or another way to get out, you're screwed, man. This is and it's all on the education system, and they're just idiotic little concepts that they have. It's crazy. Shown a lot more. He has the barrel in the pant leg to the knee. Right. I've watched all that Gray has shown a lot more. Yeah. You ever notice the other channels that do the conspiracies? They don't want to show you certain things. They gotta leave things out because, I mean, I'm showing you everything. Like every single piece of element that they've got, it all makes sense. This isn't a case where I can say something just doesn't add up here. Things just don't seem right. There's something, I'm not doing that because it does. It makes sense. Everything makes sense here. The only thing that we, an answer is for, and it's going to show the bullet will be from Tyler Robinson, fired from the gun. And we just want answers of like, what did the bullet do once it hit the neck? Where was it lodged? And why do they think they did that? And the thing is, I don't even need that. That's just bullets do things. Sometimes they go in, they hit like your collarbone and shoot down and come out your rear end or some crap like that. I mean, it's the weirdest thing you've ever seen. Yeah, I mean, Joe Rogan is a conspiracy theorist at heart. He really is. In general, he's a kind of a pragmatic type of person, but you always see the conspiracy theories lingering in the background. The way he talks with certain guests that come on, he entertains and believes in a lot of the, classic conspiracy shit. Like people actually believe we never landed on the moon. That's ludicrous. That it's absolutely ludicrous that we never landed on the moon.
I am one of those people who have I've done so many videos on that as to my arguments why. And as you can see from my previous videos, I am thorough. So he would have to look at those videos, which are long, but I highly encourage him to do it. And I would be interested in him doing a video analysis on it. Like I think it's called "A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon," and "Astronauts Gone Wild." That was a good one. Anyways, there's a bunch out there, and other videos I can share as well about the Challenger. Anyway,
I mean, we have the astronauts that have been there describing it.
I'll just go past that.
What's his name? Robert De Niro. Can't stand that guy. But man, he's so great in the movies. How do you not watch like Goodfellas every single time it's on the whole time?
Yes, they. So I'm just reading a comment here. They didn't show the timestamps, but they probably have those too. They absolutely have all of that. They didn't share it, and there's also like other text message exchanges like in between those ones that were released that were also removed, and you get those dot. And there's a lot of information that they have to withhold. This is a standing operating procedure. I understand people want everything immediately and they want answers, but people like him and myself, we're trying to provide that in a way where we're trying to circumvent the conspiracy theories because they've gone wild, and we're hoping that that doesn't poison the jury pool, right? And looking at all these videos that are out there that have been debunked, and then possibly thinking that it wasn't Tyler Robinson. He needs to have his time in court, due process, all of that stuff.
You know, like he's freaking great. What a moron in real life, though. You know, absolute just a pile of crap. You know, there's so many others like that. It's weird. But to be honest, we didn't what? Yeah. I mean, they think that what they say matters too, you know? I mean, I don't expect, like, we just have conversations in here, and if people don't want to agree with anything, great. But these guys actually go out and they think they're going to sway this huge, massive group of people, and they never do. I mean, it's just Robert De Niro is so dumb, you know? Just an idiot. Yeah. They had a whole congregation on ground. I'm not sure what that means. I know, you mean the flat earthers, Smiley? Yeah. Isn't that weird?
I had my mic off. So even with that, I'm going to go past that because of my views. And so I will say that what he shares, I can absolutely give a counter argument for easily. And I've done this on previous videos. And so again, I just want to go past that because I want this to focus on this Charlie Kirk assassination and Tyler Robinson.
On the, just since Charlie Kirk has died, I mean, we're talking, she has 5 million views on some videos, and that would probably mean that she would make, you know,
He's talking about Candace Owens.
Like 20,000 on those videos. I would say probably like 125, something like that. And just think if I made that amount of money, that would be probably 40,000 to charity.
See, I wouldn't dismiss that. Like, I know people are saying that they like he's lost credibility. I don't think he has at all, in fairness. I just don't think that he's actually put and I could be wrong, I don't think he's put time into looking at the evidence that's out there, the scientific data, the government data, witness accounts. There's just so much information out there that I've shared. Again, I don't want to focus on that for this video, but yeah, I was thinking the same thing. But again,
yeah, maybe even more, because at that point it's just stupid. You know, she gets 1 million views in under 3 hours. Yeah, it's crazy, right? Like, she'll have 195,000 people watching a live stream of just absolute gibberish, garbage, complete nonsense. And if I get 600 people, wow, it's a miracle. All right, you guys, I'm going to get out of here. Let's see. Anyways, thank you guys so much for your generosity.
Okay, so long video, very thorough. I hope that people do like, share, and subscribe. Only because, again, it's just to get more a different perspective out there. Because I'm having debates with friends, with family, with people that are in my community, people that are, again, still working in government or for them, and it doesn't matter at this point what I share because they're jumping on the bandwagon, respectfully speaking, and they're getting their information from mainstream, and I just don't understand it. But anyways, on that note, I will leave it at that, and I hope that everyone has a wonderful rest of your day.